Listen, listen, listen. I'm tired of that other song. I needed to hear the original opening. So you know what? Even if the monetization gets split, I'll chop it off later because you know what? No one really is tuning in to hear that song. But that does remind me, Punk's Pit will be this Friday for all the channel members that want to tune in. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be doing another one on Punk's Pit. If you don't know what that is, we have a bunch of yahoos that kind of show up, and there's always the regulars. Matson is usually on there. We always got Viper Scout. Ed shows up until he has to leave and go work his other free job moderating Radnom, and there are a few others that we have kind of circled in there. So anyway, if you guys were wondering, maybe you're new to the channel and you're like, what the hell is this song in that opening? What did you change it? No. We changed it to the other one because out of nowhere, some old punk band that I know from a skateboard video from 89, all of a sudden they got the right spot. So some of my stuff started getting hit with a split monetization. So anyway, hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Thank you for giving me some of your time. I hope you had a good Monday. I guess I did till a minute ago when I got an angry email from my boss who is on a cruise right now that I screwed something up. But I guess after almost 24 years, he'll get over it. He's probably just pissed off that it is while he's on his vacation. But I did everything that I'm supposed to, as I always do. Anyway, if you're looking at the poll, the only reason why I put the poll up, I've told you guys before, I put the poll up there just so it gives me a better idea of how many people are scrolling in. We got 29 votes right now, 45 people watching, so please hit that like button. In another group chat that I'm in, somebody sent me a screenshot where they asked who is the most annoying toy reviewers. It was in a Marvel Legends at that, and he screenshotted it and put my name up there. Well, he had my name in there. He didn't post it. Again, until I see it in a poll, does it really matter? But it just means that you're in people's algorithms, whether they like you or not, and it means you're doing something right. Isn't that how it goes? If people know who you are enough to be annoyed by you, then you're doing something right. So anyway, hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Like I mentioned, let's see, how did my weekend go? On Friday night, I recorded. On Saturday night, I recorded. And then I had to say, nope, I'm not going to do a live on Sunday as much as I wanted to, just because I needed a little bit of time off. Olivia and I watched some Buffy and Angel. Again, spoiler alert, Angel's son has now been born, and Buffy is now banging Spike, which is not something that makes me happy. I know you're probably going, what is the schoolgirl drama? Buffy and Angel, great shows. I can't say it enough. And then I created some content as always. But again, fun weekend, nice to get away. Quickly, if you guys are going to be tuning in tomorrow for Circle of Jerks, I will not be on there as I have a wake to go to tomorrow, a funeral on Friday, and then a funeral on Wednesday, and then one of my best friends growing up, he posts that his mom passed away, and believe it or not, the wake and funeral are at the exact same days and times as this other funeral that I have to go to. So I got 2 weeks I got to go to right after work, a funeral at 2 different places, but there's a chance I might be at both because they are converging at the same cemetery at the same time. And then my uncle passed away today, so I don't need any condolences. It's nothing to condolences for or anything like that. But crazy week. I shouldn't have asked my dad how my Uncle Pete was doing. But anyway, you know what? This is all right. So this is gonna annoy me. YouTube just changed things. I'm watching it. there are going to be commercials or ads playing while on live. I will adjust this for the next one because it's not supposed to do that anyway. That kind of pisses me off. When I'm on live, I don't want any of this stuff. So I got to go back and change that. I obviously can't do it while I'm doing it live. But YouTube changed some things in their monetization. So if you guys are doing lives and you're monetized, please check that. Make sure that you're not getting screwed. Because I have a feeling it's going to happen. However, it's happened, what are we, 7 minutes into it? I can only imagine how many times it's going to happen. So anyway, let's say hi to the chat. There's 45 people in here right now. And I know there's a huge amount of chats. And you know I like to get through everyone. So we have Same Time Toys. We have Johnny Reno. We have MTC. We have Beardy McBeardis in here. We have Rowdy Riles here. 610 Yojo Daddy. That's a really creepy name in some ways. Stanley Eberhart. We have SCS Dog. We have a GI Jetman. Allison Troy, who I will be doing May the Power of the Force with. So please, if you are interested in May the Power of the Force, please hit us up. We need to get 31 people to review figures, the original figures from the prequels, the 3.75. Snow Wolf is here. Krusty Old Crow. We have Thanos Copter, who you should be following on Instagram if you have a strong stomach. We have Action Figs, who is here. Turk Murphy Toy Solutions, who I want to say thank you to. Great guest on Thursday with a Friend last Thursday. Please check that out if you haven't yet. Whew. 3-star draws here. We have a Viper Scout, who I'm sure will be on Punk's Pit. We have Vine Jungle Figure Factory. I'm telling you, that is like such a tongue-tie twister for me. We have Painful Thoughts here. Matthew Matson, my first moderator. We have Nolan, which now makes us Toy Tube official. We have Menhuza, GI Bro, who has the best guns in the community going right now. And then we have Pain's Toy Samples, who is Painful Thoughts. His thoughts are so painful that he had to log in twice to be on here 2 times because he hates himself that much that he's going to watch me on 2 different channels. Ray Black is here. Woo! All right. We have Astrodamus Toys. I'm trying to get through everyone as well as trying to get through everyone. We have Johnny B54. We have a Bobby Wold. Punk, are you watching the series on Amazon called The Bondsman? For your other YouTube channel, okay, so we discussed this. The problem with that is they dropped all the episodes on the exact same day, and we had to look at it. It was something we wanted to because it looked very interesting, but dropping them all on one day made it very difficult. So right now, the only show that we are doing is Mobland. But I'm sure we will get to more as time goes on. But that is something that I do want to watch for sure because it looks pretty interesting. Big M is here. Did I say hi to G.I. Jetman? I believe that I did. Whew. We have Evo Dookie here. I know I'm saying that. Snow Wolf, who I think I already said hi to. Firefly right here. We have Hella Dope Toys. Ted, if you are here, I need another commercial. People are sick and tired of it. Tony's always like, I need more Mossman. More Mossman. This is from Tony's face. He is like the biggest Mossman. As a matter of fact, next Mossman commercial, you better shout out Tony's Figs because he absolutely loves it. He's like, it is my favorite thing on the whole channel. U.S. Combat Dojo. We have Into Mystery. We have El Lobo Rojo. Did I say that right? I can't find your Reacher discussion. The Reacher discussion is on, well, there's 2 of them. So Reacher is either on the Coalition, where you can actually watch us. If you go to the terminal list, which is right here, I'll drop a link to it. You can only watch it in podcast or listen to it in podcast form. All right. Because it was originally over on the Coalition. So we only put that over there in audio form. So you can't really watch it. So no big deal. But if you want to watch it on Coalition, please do. But make sure you tune in to that channel. Go over there, subscribe, like it. There's 61. I should have like 60 new likes there, right? Tony's Figs, look, here he is. He heard his name. He heard Mossman. He's like, you know what? I need more Mossman. Johnny Reno is here. Whew. I know I got to be close to the bottom. I'm not even close to the bottom. We have Coco Smooth, the casual collector. I'm the worst reviewer ever. Hey, all I know is I'm reading what I saw, and I take pride in it because it just means people know who you are. Earl Whitfield. The funniest thing is the person's name. Shark Guy saying fuck yes is the right answer for the poll. I'll just leave it here. Maybe you can figure out where I may have heard this from. Rob Hughes, Rob from Vegas. I don't believe that I have ever seen you here. So welcome. If you have been, my moderator will let me know. Dude, that guy's here all the time and you didn't even notice. Legend Series. Grizzlehorn is here. We have Gun Bunny Customs. Whew. Hello Dope Toy says, I'm on the wrong account. So that's supposed to be Ted Darklaw, I'm assuming. I just assume when I see Hello Dope Toys that is Ted because, yep, there he is right there. Ted Darklaw says, I'm on the right account now. Punk, I got you. Hey, eventually, we just need another commercial. I need the longest ass commercial. Not the long. I need to put one together. What I really want is a commercial for Circle of Jerks, Eden Travis's, and then Matthew and Pops, where I can just put them all together and I can walk away for about 5 minutes and just let the commercials run. I'm like a real TV show, like a real TV show. I can have commercials, but I do need to have another Hella Dope Toys commercial because I do like to play that before I get into the actual toys and the topic, right? So anyway, Ted, I know you're busy, but come on. And everyone, go over there if you haven't yet. Hella Dope Toys, APWT, you get 10% off your entire order. No one else does that, even if it's on pre-order. And you know what they have? If you want that Spider-Man, emo Spider-Man, people were complaining that it's too expensive. If it's still up there, I haven't checked. Ted, you can tell them. It was $30, unlike Entertainment Earth and BBTS, and you can get 10% off right now. So go over there and do that. Whoop. All right. I thought I saw someone else pop in here. I just need to take a breath. Yeah, Allison says that Spider-Man is cool. I knew people were going to get mad about it. But again, if you don't like it, it's really easy not to buy something you don't want. It's crazy. There's all kinds of shit I buy that I don't buy that I see. I'm like, I don't like that. I don't want it. I go through stores all the time and I'm like, wow, look at that. I don't want that. I don't buy it. And I don't bitch about it. Sean Jones says no emo. I guess not for everyone, but I think people are going to buy that just so they can use that head sculpt on other things. You're going to have great memes, great photography with it. Again, if you want it, that's the best price you're going to get because you can go back and watch Hella Dope Toys yesterday. I know Ted really tries to break down the tariffs. There were some other people in there that are spouting off their mouth. Whatever, dude. Like, we don't really fully know everything that's going to happen. I'm not going to get into the tariffs, but it's not going to be a great thing as of right now. So you're already seeing it affect some of these bigger companies that are already letting you hear about it. So let's see. Alex Martinez jumping in here saying, hello, Mr. Punk. And Rowdy Row says, Hasbro Pulse canceled my Max Spider pre-orders this morning. Was double miffed. Wow. Did that make you maximum? I love that. I gotta go check that. I got like a whole bunch of emails, but I was like determined not to check my emails today because I had certain things happening. So I was like, you know what? I'm not checking my emails. They piled up to like 60 emails. So mine may have gotten canceled also. We have Triple D's Dungeon with Daredevil Dave saying, "Sup, boys and girls," and Todd C jumping in here. Also, this weekend, I did finish watching 1923. It was the series finale, which I did not. I'm not going to ruin anything if anyone is watching the series of 1923. I'll just say this. I didn't realize that it was the series finale, which does make sense. You know, it's leading into Yellowstone. So they're only doing like these short series. A lot of stuff happened that I did not expect, right? Like I fully did not expect. The Rowdy is saying she was maximum mad. Bobby Wold, Walmart canceled my crystal ball. I was upset. It was upsetting because they tried passing it off as a payment problem, but after I went through everything and then called them, they admitted to overselling it. Now, see, I'm wondering about that. I didn't have that happen. I saw a couple people mention that. I use PayPal, and PayPal automatically charges you. So if you use PayPal, it automatically charges you. And I'm wondering if the people that have already paid maybe aren't getting canceled because I didn't get a cancellation. I also have it on Hasbro Pulse, so it's praying. And Shark Guy says the 1923 series finale was great. It was. It really was. The funniest thing is my daughter was watching, and she never watched it before. 16 years old. Yeah, I've seen Olivia. What I'm telling you. She's watching it with me because she's just down there. And she's super annoyed by the whole relationship thing. I'm like, hey, listen, normally I'm the one rooting for bad things to happen, but so much bad has happened between these two. I am actually rooting for the best. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, it was really, really good. Alex Martinez says, I saw something online that they are counting with Dutton Family Store and new series. Okay, so someone else mentioned that to me, and I thought she was joking about it. And yeah, so now I'm wondering, like, yeah, now I'm going to wonder about that because I gotta say they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job when it comes to all of this, right? So. And War Chest has just joined in here. So, all right. I got to look at my notes. I got all these notes here. So what I dropped this week, I dropped the classic reviews. I'm going to talk about those really quickly. I got Torpedo, Destro, and the Fang. Now, going into next week, we have Doc, Ace, and I was supposed to do the Sky Striker. I have not. So hopefully I'll have time to do the Sky Striker either Wednesday, even possibly tomorrow, or I can do it Saturday. And then we're really coming to the end of Series 2, and I'll start getting into other things. As for what I got this week, I got to say thank you to Darren, 3-star draw, for getting me the Toylanta exclusives that we'll get into in a second. So first off, we got this Sir Elijah in. I like this figure. I'm not sure if I like him as much as the other one that I got. I can't think of his name. He's another Sir. Just really good bucks. A lot of fun. So much good detail. It's hard to dislike these things, in my personal opinion. And it's kind of weird. I talk to a lot of people and they're like, I'm skipping the humanoids. I don't care about the knights. I only want the skeletons. I only want the demons. I only want cosmics. I'm more into the humanoid, other than the fact that I got Stavros, this big bad boy. Now you look at this guy, and he has that pretty much the same as the dragon head. All right, not a lot of articulation. A big, mean, heavy boy. Detail like you might imagine with all the Four Horsemen stuff. But this is the BBTS exclusive. He's like $80. I don't know if they've raised the prices because they seem to be raising the prices without letting people know. Like they're not even wasting any time. So that guy is awesome. And then Operation Monster Force, the Eraser. This guy, I don't know if he's on a different buck, But he does have a different overlay. He has a different weapon system. This is the gridiron weapon. If anyone is actually wondering, this is the gridiron here. So this is the first of it. A few things I know that I realized I don't like is that the overlay here, the knife and stuff is sheathed in. Like it's sculpted in and it's big and bulky and it gets in the way. I don't really like it. Like this overlay. They do give you a different one, but this is the eraser, and the purple I think is really cool because it tells the story and it harkens into their actual lore of the Dahmer party, that they can see him and he makes this purple glow. So it's actually really cool. If you're able to get one, I would say check it out. BBTS is supposed to have them, and I'm actually surprised I haven't dropped it yet. Peanut Butter and Jelly Street Gang, the PBJ Street Gang, a classified series I want to see made. I just want exclusives to be made in larger quantities. Also, Saw Viper is semi-automatic weapon Viper. How warranted is that? It should be squad. It's actually the same as what the original file card said, if I remember correctly. But okay, so here's the whole thing. I just want exclusives to be made in larger quantities. It kind of defeats the purpose of exclusives, if that makes any sense. Eworthy says, did you review Elijah? I did. But it was on like I think it went out on Tuesday. So it went out, I want to say, right after I did the show. So yeah. Rowdy says, I want the guy that said, I'm a computer, stop all the downloading. Oh, we already got pork chop sandwiches and don't grab stick. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Grizzlehorn has jumped in here and said, my buddy gifted me his classified collection. Nothing I didn't have, but now I got an extra 30 to add to my collection. That is awesome. There's nothing better than being gifted stuff. Even better when you're gifted something that you don't have. Tony's Figs was gifted a few figures. And he told me what they were. Some of them are worth a pretty penny, and there was stuff that he didn't have. And then the other stuff he'll probably use for custom. So anyway, I will say this when we get to the topic. One of the things I do want to say is what I'm not asking for when I talk about what classifieds do you want. I don't want to hear. I'm not looking for Lifeline. We're going to get Lifeline. All right. We're going to get the basic figures. I'm talking about figures that were from the cartoon, from the comic, maybe something that was created in, maybe not in the O-ring, but the 4-inch line, different things like that I think will, that some people are waiting for. All right. I mean, sure, you can say, Lifeline, and you can say, Short Fuse and Zap. I mean, I think we know that we're going to get that stuff. I'm thinking more obscure characters, obscure figures that we never got. Then I'm going to start highlighting some of them, just so I can kind of remember. Just Jeff, I can't repeat that, but people can read it, and I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. Now, Eworthy here, he said, I love a Super Trooper or some of the Battle Force 2000. Now, I don't really know a lot of those characters, but those are some that I would say, hey, you know what? We may never get that. So if you have some that you do like, that would fit in there. But the core characters, I would say up to 88, 89. Like, I think we know we're going to get the majority of those. So, again, you're more than welcome to throw that type of stuff in there. But yeah, I'm more interested in some of these more obscure ones. So, but I am highlighting it as I see some of them. You guys know the topic doesn't come till after the 11 o'clock hour, or as Ed likes to say, about 5 minutes to midnight. All right. Whew. I'll take a drink real quick. Oh, I also dropped some Top Fun Retro Toys 3D printed weapons. I dropped one review. I have a few more reviews to do with some regular weapons. He's got some Star Wars weapons with blast effects. And for some of the guys in here, he has some 1/18 weapons that I will be, I got to get some of the figures out to make sure that they fit in there. He did say they work with some of the O-ring stuff. We'll double check with that. That's the stuff that will be pretty interesting, but I have some Delta 17 that have the softer hands, but obviously some 4-inch figures. So I'm going to be doing those hopefully this week to get those out there. Grizzlehorn, I did not back the dragon as I don't have $1,000. Nor do I have space for a dragon other than on the aircraft carrier. But by putting it on the aircraft carrier, that means I have to make space for roughly 4 to 5 F-14 Tomcats that I now won't have places for. It looks amazing, but yeah, that's as much as I think everyone would love to have a dragon like that, that's as big as this guy over here. It's just not in the cards for me. But I'm happy for everyone that got it. There is a chance that I may be getting one to review from Ostrodamus Toys, but that is it won't be mine. He'd be lending me to review it, but it's going to be getting it back and forth. All right. Because he's going to be picking it up from New Jersey. New Jersey's like an 11-hour drive. So if it's something that I feel warrants for the channel, and as much as I would love to do it, I definitely would think about driving out there. But that's a whole day trip. I'd have to plan other things around it. Maybe go to some toy stores out there. Maybe meet up with a few people in Jersey if I did something like that. So Andrew Taylor jumping in here saying it doesn't get more metal than Dragon on the aircraft carrier. Oh, I agree. It would look amazing. But it's already cool having Megatron on there kind of destroying it. So, and then we have Jamie Benson jumping in here saying, let's all agree we need a classified Lobato Max. Do I know who that is? There ain't much there. There's not much there, all right? I've only been there once for training. It was right by Chubsy Wubsy, which is actually right by Mythic Legions or Four Horsemen. I didn't realize that, or I would have maybe tried to get a tour of the place. But yeah, we have Yellow Jacket jumping in here with a whole bunch of things that he's asking for. I'll highlight this and maybe come back to that. I don't think you're going to get a lot of that. Is just maybe some minor paint color changes. But I guess, yeah. Anyway, so big thank you. I said thank you to Turk Murphy Toy Solution. I gotta say, and I have to another fucking commercial. I don't like this. I don't like this whole commercial bullshit. All right. So Turk Murphy, thank you very much. So there was someone who left a comment. I have not addressed it. And he talked about Turk stealing stuff. And I don't know if I've never heard anything like that Turk had stole money from people. And if I am wrong, then I'm wrong. I believe that I would have addressed something like that or not had someone on that had some questionable character. So I don't know if it's for the wrong person. I only bring it up because that was brought up, and then somebody else that I do know that is a watcher of the channel, somebody else has questioned them. And I'm wondering if that's who they are talking about. I don't really like accusations being thrown out that are just completely unbased. If there is something, then please message me. If you know something, then message me about a guest that I have. That is something that I need to. I try and, I mean, we're not doing. I mean, this is all free and everything, but I don't want to have people that are questionable, if that makes sense, right? I really prided myself on that show, and I do my best. And I don't expect everyone to like people. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. But I am not looking for. I'm not looking to have questionable people on there. And I have never had an issue with Turk Murphy Toy Solutions. All right. He's actually been a very upfront and honest guy. A lot of stuff I didn't know about him. And that's one of the reasons why we have him on there. But I have had nothing but good interactions with him. And again, I have to talk to this person who left the comment. I have to address the comment, and I just haven't yet. But then I saw something else earlier today that was sent to me about someone else, and that's what I'm wondering if maybe that's who they are that's who they are thinking of, because it does happen. And then, like I said, tomorrow I won't be on. If all goes well, there's supposed to be a special guest on Circle of Jerks, which is kind of disappointing. I wanted to be on to chat with this guy, as I've talked to him before. I probably talk to him almost every single day, to be 100% honest. But I got to say thank you to Casey from Podcast from the Pit. We did a recording on Friday. I am not sure exactly when it is going to come out. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to come out, but when it does, I will let you know. And then also, I want to say thank you to the Gungo podcast that is Growing Up, Not Growing Old podcast. He had me on a couple weeks ago. It aired this Sunday. So if you want to know a little bit more, check out this podcast. It was a lot of fun chatting with him. And if you want to know a little bit more about how I got into punk, maybe a little bit about my toys, but he asked all different types of questions. A lot of questions people haven't asked that maybe people don't even think about asking me, right? So anyway, go ahead, click that link. Watch it later on. Don't watch it right now because you're watching here. Unless if it's during one of the commercials, I guess then watch part of it during the commercial. I hate those stupid commercials. I'm super aggravated by it. I actually yelled at Travis Moody not too long ago for having ads. And now YouTube changed it, so everyone's going to be getting this. So just be watching it. Kenzo's Creation jumping in here. Whew. All right. So, and then let's see. Oh, and then for this week, Daredevil Dave will be my guest on Thursday with a friend. You guys have all heard me talk about when Daredevil Dave died at Aaron the Toy Enhancer's house and electrolytes saved his life. I think we'll finally get to hear it from Daredevil Dave. I'm not sure if he's ever talked about what's happened. I'm sure he probably has, but not on a stage as big as mine. That's a joke. But yes, he's going to be able to jump in here. He's gonna jump in. We'll get that story out of him. What was actually going through his, what was through his mind, in all honesty, like when he kind of came to. It was a surreal scene. And, there were some good people there that jumped in to address it. So Brick Something is jumping in here. If you're not following Brick Something, head on over there. He may talk a little too much AWOC, but you know what? People think I talk a little too much Joe. No, he has a great channel, great hair, good channel, great hair. How about that? All right, his hair. If his channel was as good as his hair, he'd have as many subscribers as Mr. Beast. I'm just saying. Let's see if there's anything else here. All right. So, a few things. I do still have some Valaverse figures if anyone is interested. This is where I'm shilling, trying to get rid of some stuff. If anyone is still wondering, I have a rollback, $50. I have a female Steel Brigade for $40. This has been the easiest way to get rid of them. Oh, the Swarm Sentry for $25, and I'll ship it for that. Let's see here. Oh, and 2 Garrison Calvaries, $30 each. I can't believe no one bought the Garrison Cavalry. Honest to God, that is such a good figure. I cannot believe. I'm not talking to Mike. I honestly cannot believe that no one wanted those. Of all the people that wanted the Valaverse stuff, that nobody wanted those. Those are really good figures. They look awesome, and they can fit with it pretty much any line if you really want. So, if anyone is interested, shoot me a message on Instagram or Facebook. You guys know how to get a hold of me. All right. So, like I said, this week, Punk's Pit. So, if you're a channel member, please tune in. Have fun. I will say this, anything that is said, even in the private chat, anyone can screen capture it. So never say in any private chat something you are not willing to say out in the real world, because somebody will screen capture it. They'll send it to people. For me, the members only is just to give something back, to have a few less people. Hey, you know what? You do get a little bit. You do get a little bit more open. There's less people chiming in, and again, I have normally specific people on there, and I kind of like that. You're not going to see Viper Scout, I think, on anything else. It's really the only show that he's on every single time. Ed and Matthew, you guys see all the time. Same with Tony Sfig. So anyway, basically what I'm saying is become a channel member so you can tune in this Friday for Punk's Pit. Action Fix. Ed says, there goes our chats about how cute rhinos are, Punk. Rowdy, I've seen you on your worst behavior. Well, I don't know if I've seen your worst. You tried saying that you were pretty bad. Maybe I missed earlier. Maybe I missed that stream you were doing when I tuned in the other day. I didn't hear anything, but maybe I missed what you were saying about earlier. I don't talk politics. Politics have no place for me in this community, and I know other people do. I try and stay out of that. It doesn't matter if I'm liberal, conservative, or right down the middle. Everyone else is different. I once said to Matthew, I said I get people from both sides of the aisle that send me private messages, and Matthew said that's the best thing, because that means that people don't know where you stand, because as Michael Jordan once said, Republicans buy shoes too. Liberals also watch toy shows. Just kidding. I don't want to upset the liberals. They'll come at me. They won't hit me, but they'll come at me. No, I'm just taking shots at people. I'm sorry. I don't like either one of the parties. I think they're both a bunch of assholes. All right. As for the links, as you guys always know, we got the if you're gonna go to and order some toys, we have Entertainment Earth. Use A Punk as the code. You get 10% off anything in stock. That's even stuff that's on clearance. That's probably the best thing to do for them. We got hella dope toys. You guys know APWT. Get 10% off your entire order. That means in stock or pre-order. Amazon links, just click on it. It helps support the channel. And then, like I said, if you're going to be ordering stuff from Top Fun Toys, put in the code PUNK with toys, drop the A and you'll get 10% off everything. And he really has some really nice weapons, things that I don't see people doing. His launchers, the video that I just did, the blast effects are absolutely awesome. And John is an actual, he's a Marine. So you can't say that he doesn't know his weapons. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a 20-year lifer there. And this is part of his retirement. This is part of his retirement. So, True Star Screamer jumping in here saying, evening crew, great to have you here. I never heard back from you. You messaged me, or we were messaging, and I never heard back about the dial that we had that kind of discussed. So, and then the last thing I do want to bring up is the other show that I'm doing, the TV Terminal with Adam Vale. Here is a link. Right now, we are covering Mobland. We're going to cover other shows as we go on. It won't always just be, I don't think it's always going to be just myself and Adam. But Adam has a lot of connections. That's how he's getting these screeners. And he is moving along and he's securing more stuff. He said Paramount is really happy with what we're doing right now with the coverage of Mobland. So I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more Paramount shows. So I'm excited for that because I know that I know everyone has a channel. I'm not talking about YouTubers at this point. I know every station, every company now has their own streaming service. And Netflix is obviously the big one, and Amazon. I mean, if you don't have Amazon, I don't know how people don't have Amazon. But Paramount is one of those ones that for $6, they have a lot of good programs, and it's worth it. I can't justify Peacock or even Apple TV, even though I know they have a lot of good stuff. But Paramount for $6, yeah, I'm totally down with that. We have Skunkworks Studios jumping in here. Jeff, great to have you here. Go check out his Thursday with a Friend. Man, Jeff, I am so impressed. Like, when I talk to you and just you command things like you command things unlike a lot of people, and you just have that I don't give a fuck attitude, but not in a bad way. If that makes sense. There's a lot of people that say I don't give a fuck, and it's because they don't understand. You just have it like, hey, you know what? I don't really give a shit. Doesn't matter. So go check that out. I think you'll definitely enjoy anything that Jeff puts out there. And Big M, Mobland was not. I was expecting Mobland to be good. It was not what I was expecting on that first episode. Second episode, didn't see that coming. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, didn't see that coming. It was pretty fucking awesome. That's all I have. That's what I got to say on that. And we haven't watched the rest of the episodes. I think we got the first 6 or 7 episodes. I think that's what Paramount sent us. I think they're waiting to see, why. Like, and Adam said he had to go. He's like, I had to write a whole essay out. Why do we want these screeners? Why are we doing this? What? And he said he's done this for quite some time with the coalition. So he sent a whole bunch of stuff like that. He sent a whole bunch of stuff like that over. So they were really happy with it. So look for that. Woody 222 saying, good day, Lawrence and chat. Woody has a new video coming out. Woody, when are you dropping that video? Another basement tour. I'm not going to tell anyone what it's about, but I'm going to tell you, if you see Woody drop something, go watch it. Even if you don't care for whatever he's dropping, this guy is seriously, you are one of the best people in this community. And I say it all the time. I know Jeff can vouch for it. You're one of the best people in the community. And I'm happy to call you a friend. G.I. Jetman, Punk, did you watch Landman? I did. I thought Landman was excellent. And as long as we can get that, Landman will definitely be one of the ones that we will be reviewing afterwards for season 2. I thought Landman was absolutely awesome. The only thing that I wish about Landman, Tulsa King, and all of these, I wish Taylor Sheridan would just say, they're all part of the exact same universe. And I don't need them to interact. That's not what I need. But it wouldn't be bad to see like a paper talking about Landman, in Yellowstone, or maybe a reference, or maybe a crossover character. That it doesn't have to be a main character, just some crossover character as an Easter egg, right? Skunk. I liked the Lioness. Season 1 was amazing. Season 2, I thought there was too much of we have to show you that she's a woman and can be powerful. I didn't need that because that was already established in season 1, right? I didn't look at her as a woman, but I thought they tried to do that too much in season 2 for some reason. Maybe it was just me. Maybe it was something I just happened to see. So, and MCR says the Bondsman was very cool. I want to watch that. I'm going to watch it. I was just upset that well, not upset. I mean, that kind of sounds stupid. I was disappointed that it was just all dropped in one day, and we're like, we're trying to build content, and first off, we didn't we're like, well, neither one of us had time to watch 8 episodes in one day and review them each day. So that's the reason why that one didn't get. But I do want to go back. I'm going to go back and watch that for sure. El Delos Reyes here, keeping it real, APWT. Thank you very much. All right, so I think it's time to start wrapping this up here. Neil McDonough's character would be a great floating character for the Sheridan shows. Yeah, I think there would be a few that would actually be really good. But again, there's a lot of shows that take place in the same universe and you never hear about it. ABC used to do it all the time with their comedies, right? Every now and then they'd kind of do a crossover. Again, that works for a comedy. But I think it would be cool just so they're all living in that same universe, right? Just kind of the same way that, the same way that the Star Treks all lived in the same universe. We didn't always see, the Next Generation crossing over with, with the other one. So BX Medic 33 jumping in here saying, hey, Punk and everyone, and Tristan T. Howdy, y'all. All right. So before we get into this, I just want to mention 82 votes on the poll. The only reason why that poll was put in there, the only reason why is literally 15, 20 minutes before I got a message saying, hey, someone said in this, it was in a thread in a Marvel Legends group saying who, and the guy wrote out a lot of things saying, hey, who are the most annoying, toy tubers or toy reviewers, I forget what it was. And somebody mentioned me. If I am correct, I believe they forgot the A. It bothers me, man. It's not Punk with toys. It's a Punk with toys. There's not a bunch of us. There's only one. I'm that one. So, but as I said to them, when people are annoyed by you, it means that they're watching, they're seeing, and it's perfectly fine. There's a lot of toy retubers. I don't know what that is. A lot of toy reviewers that annoy me. A lot of them I like as people because I've talked to them. And that's fine. You just kind of scroll along. It comes up in my algorithm all the time. You just kind of move along. It's not that big of a deal. But it just means that, hey, you know what? People are seeing it. Jim Veer jumping in here saying, I want to see Scarlet in a pink thong. I did avoid putting any of those because there's a couple that are a little risque. We have Alex S jumping in here saying, Buenos and nachos, everyone, hope you are doing well. I don't know if the B is completely silent. That is Buenos. Again, I don't speak Spanish. And Grizzle Horn saying, you are awesome, sir. Thank you very much. And Rowdy says, I voted no because I want to be the most annoying. I can already tell you that you're not the most annoying. I can already tell you're not the most annoying. And because of that, you get a... Anyway, if you know, you know. Not everyone will know, and that's okay, because inside jokes are meant to be inside jokes. Anyway, a lot of toy news, even some G.I. Joe news. Love G.I. Joe news. People actually tune in for that. Anyway, wait around. We'll get there. But we have to start off with a little bit of Masters of the Universe. Now, I know we probably covered a lot of this. I don't know why. For some odd reason, I feel like Masters of the Universe is the hardest news to come by. So anyway, Allison is saying, you will never be more annoying than Lawrence. Rowdy, it's impossible. I mean, it all depends. And a Lone Dragon here is saying, people tune in for Roman. That is true. That is very, very, very true. All right. So this is all the solicitations of the Mo2 figures. Hopefully they're kind of in order. Now, anyone that is new to the channel or newer, the reason why we always make the jokes that the moment Mo2 hits, I drop about 10 viewers is because it's how it used to be. Now it's become such a running joke that I even sometimes see a nice bump in the Mo2, because I have a bunch of Mo2 guys in here, like this guy. Ellison lies so much, I don't know. Kenzo. But anyway, so we have this Grizzlord. Now, first off, I feel like Grizzlord needs the fur. But man, I love this mirror. Right? This mirror is absolutely awesome. It's like I think it's one of the coolest accessories that I've seen. And that is such a good shot of him just like admiring himself. Beardy McBeardison jumping here saying yes, just in time for Mo2. And then Jay Astro saying that new Ninja is fire. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty nice. So here he is. Now someone needs to let him know that you're supposed to pose in the mirror, not have the mirror down where people can't see that you're posing. I mean, this guy clearly just finished arm day and he is making the bicep pose. Maybe he found the big mirror. And anyone that works out knows in the gym, there's always one or two mirrors that make you look bigger. Maybe he's looking in the big mirror and he had to put down the small one there. This guy is I don't know who he is, but he has a disc. What the hell is this? All right, I can't keep up. That's why I need all you Mo2 guys. What the hell is this guy? He kind of looks like he's like a shark, but he kind of looks like a lizard. And then he has an octagon. I think it's an octagon. Fangman. That's Fangman? Not Fangor though. Okay. Oh yeah, add 3. God. So that's 3 ads in an hour. Yeah, that's 3 ads in an hour. Again, I do apologize. YouTube changed some stuff. I didn't think they were going to do it on the live streams, so I will definitely be figuring out how to turn that thing off. All right. Yes, Finger is a different character. That's what. So here he is, like running. It looks like he's going to chew on this thing. I don't know. It looks like he's like taking a bite out of crime, like Gruff the crime dog. We have Orko. Why does Orko have Chewbacca's medallion or whatever it was that Chewbacca was not given? True Star Screamer says, by the way, be more annoying than APWT, hold my beer. I'll be 100% honest. I know I'm not everyone's favorite, but I can look at my numbers. I can see what I'm doing. I can see my channel growth. I don't even think I'm close to being one of the most annoying. But hey, to each their own. There's a lot of popular TV shows that I think are the stupidest, most annoying things in the world. But you know what? Again, it's good to be mentioned, right? That's all that matters. So there you go, Orko and his nice little stand, which I do like. I do think they do a pretty good job with that. Now Orko can make a separate character, right? Like Uncle Orko or something like that, I believe. So he's got the big beard here. Looks like Uncle Jesse from the Dukes of Hazzard. So I believe that they talked about this. This was so people don't feel like they're buying a second Orko if they have the original Orko. But yeah. So if you need Orko, there you go. The big Terror Claws Skeletor. This is one of those figures that, in my opinion, I look at, and again, I'm not going to be getting it. There are some really good cues on it, and then there's some that I just don't care for. Like, I don't really care for the big claws, although I think they look pretty good. The helmet, it doesn't give me Skeletor vibes, but man, you get rid of the stupid giant claws, and I think it looks really, really awesome. But that's just my opinion. Again, I'm not going to be picking this up. I didn't like Terror Claws in the Origins. So, and we have Master Hoarder jumping in here saying, Uncle Mortek, thank you very much. Now, did he have the big O, though, for Orko? I mean, because you can't really hide that. And look, Kenzo is like, Masterverse fucking kicks so much ass. Now, see, this is where I'm confused about. And again, I'll let you guys, you collect both, Joe. You collect both Classified and Motu here. I hear a lot of people complain about the articulation with the, with these Motu. And now I have a few of them, and I know they don't have nearly the same articulation as some of the Classified, but I don't think they're bad, and they're a cheaper cost and they're a bigger buck. So I don't know why people seem to have an issue. Like, they say they don't have great articulation. I don't really have any issues for the price that you're paying. And I don't really compare them to Classified, but I've had other people compare it. So Kenzo, I'd love to hear what you have to say, maybe on your show. If you're not checking out Kenzo's live stream, check out his live stream. Maybe you can kind of expand on that. I think you're on tomorrow live, so you're on Wednesdays. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that. Kenzo said also the detail on the paint is improving. I've said that about even the Origins, like their face sculpts and everything, especially for the price that you're paying, was just getting better and better and better. And I mean, to the point where I'm looking at some of these Origins, and I'm like, that face sculpt doesn't, and not that it doesn't, it fits with Origins, but it's so much better than stuff like that. But I would love to hear you talk about that. Because I think that's something that you get a lot of Classified. So I'd love to hear what you have to say. We have Not Rachel jumping in here saying that Orko needs a one-finger salute alternate hand. Brick says, I hear you, Punk. Remove the claws and keep the helmet. He looks good. Ditch the helmet and keep the claws. He looks good. But together, I'm not sold on the look. Maybe that's what it is. Let me see if I have. Let me go back here. It might be. I'm just not a fan of the claws. I think the helmet looks really cool. I don't know if it works for Skeletor, but I think it looks awesome. If that makes any sense. I know not everyone thinks that. Let's see here. Thanos says they still put some wonky face sculpts, but some are pretty nice. Yeah, well, yeah, you're going to get that for sure. Victor jumping in here saying, I'm satisfied with the amount of points of articulation with Masterverse. Has more than Mythic Legions. Well, that's not hard, to be 100% honest. And I don't want to compare it to Mythic Legions because, the Four Horsemen stuff, again, I'll say it every time, you're buying that for the sculpt and accessories. These are two different scales. And again, I'm not saying, and I'm just saying that I've read this and heard people say this, and I'm like, I don't I mean, even with the early Masterverse, I'm looking at a couple, one right here, and I know I got a couple back there. I never saw an issue with how much articulation they have. I thought it was actually pretty good. So, now Thanos says it needs butterfly mostly because we need some damn two-handed action. Okay, now that I can fully understand and that I can fully get on with, especially when half of your line is swordsmen or axemen or whatever. Yeah, they need to have that. They need to have some sort of butterfly so they can hold those with two hands properly. So Thanos, I would say that is one thing. If someone, but you know what? Even though Classified has it, very few of them, if any, can actually hold a pistol with two hands the way they're supposed to. So, okay, so this Ninja here. Now this came across. A matter of fact, I believe Lone Dragon is the one who sent it to me. Now I have to say, looking at the first picture here, I do not like this face plate that's on it, and maybe it's just from a distance. I just don't like it. Everything else I really like about this. So this figure looks really good. And again, I think this thing's like $25, $25, whatever it is. This sculpt here looks way better on him than it does on the G.I. Joe Classified Blue Ninja. All right, because it's very similar. I like the sword. I like the sword that he comes with. I think the bow is actually pretty cool. I've never been a fan of his feet, but that's how he's supposed to look, so I can't be mad about it. That's how he's made, that he has this weird. But looking at this figure, like, I look at this and this would fit in perfect with the NECA Dungeons and Dragons for a much cheaper cost. He comes with what looks like to be actual nunchucks that will actually be on probably, plastic, with plastic chains. So it's actually able to move around. Then again, I can fully see the issues not having, not having the butterfly joints. Again, that's going to take away. But I think this face sculpt is really, really awesome. Same with this mask. It's just this face one. It just doesn't fit. And I think it doesn't fit because it's meant to snap in there. Allison says he just needs some lotion on them. And here you can actually see that the nunchucks fit on his person. And he can fit the sword on his back. And he can grab it like he's, so you can maybe get some pretty good shots out of it. Now, Thanos Captor, I'm sure you already have some ideas of what you want to do. Oof, always worries me. And Kenzo says, yes, Ninja is so good. All right. I know this is something that a lot of people have been really excited for. I am very confused on this line. And this is the Thundercats Motu crossover. And I'll discuss it in a second. So clearly here is Lion-O. And so I'm not sure what they're supposed to be. I look at this guy, and I believe he's supposed to be the crossover He-Man and Lion-O. All right, that makes sense in a crossover. He has the Sword of Omens. I'll say it again. The Sword of Omens is better than the Sword of Power. It is way better. It has the Eye of Thundera. It grows. He's a grower, not a shower. But I look at this, and again, it looks good. And I get this feeling that it's like a crossover He-Man and Lion-O. And again, to me, this is what I think this as a kid, this is what we wanted. I think this is what so many of us wanted, that we wanted the Thundercats in the same style as Motu, because they just they work, right? Thanos says, if you are in for Origins, you're probably in for these. It's a crossover we all wanted as small nerds. I agree with that. And Russell Lemieux jumping in here saying, your reviews are a bit long-winded, but hey, it could be worse. You're not Uncle Tim. I don't know who Uncle Tim is. Again, and the thing is, with my reviews being long-winded, I know they are, but that's what people have come to enjoy and like. And again, they're done that way for a reason. And I appreciate everyone tuning in. And again, I don't really care. Like, I don't care if people think that I am annoying. You're here, right? Even the people that give the thumbs down. JLS Comics jumping in here saying, "What's up, everyone?" JLS, you left. JLS, you left I believe it was you that left a meme in the Discord that made me laugh. It made me laugh. I just want to say that. So anyway, here's Lionel with a different head. He has his gauntlet and everything. Now this here, I'm kind of looking at going, okay, this is, I look at this. Now this is kind of like this weird crossover. When we get to Chitara, she looks way more classic, and I like the fact that there's this. I like the fact that there's a classic look of the Thundercats. That's what personally I want to see. And now I'm not collecting, so people can say, hey, you know what? Your opinion means absolutely nothing but I look at this here and I'm just like, this is exactly, yeah. If I had more room, I probably would go in, since I got rid of almost all of my Motu Origins, I probably would have went in on the Filmation. And I love that they have a mix. So having like a classic looking Lion-O, a classic looking Chitara, to me that works. Now, I talked about this figure before. I don't understand why you do this. This is your Battle Cat with Terror Claws. And I really don't like it. Now, I don't understand that there's two peg system on the back. But when I see this, when you lose all that stupid, when you lose the helmet and the Terror Claws, and I'm looking at this is awesome. This figure might be one that I just pick up just because this Battle Cat, he can be anything. He doesn't have to be ridden. He can just be a whole different character. He'll be a little short for a walk, but hey, you know what? There's nothing wrong with short people. Thanos Captor says those pegs are for his saddle. Okay, then that makes a lot of sense. Other than why does he have a saddle? Jamie Garcia jumping here saying hello, everyone. And again, if you're just jumping in, 81 people, please hit that like button if you haven't yet. I guarantee you we're not at 81 likes. We're at 63, so that's actually pretty good. But please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm. It tells everyone on YouTube, hey, we like this show. So once you remove everything on Battle Cat, I think he looks absolutely awesome. And then you have Mumra. We've already talked about the Mumra. I think this looks really good. And they do have like the weird crossover. They give them different head sculpt and stuff. So it's really, it's up to you if this is what you like. But I love the idea of this crossover. Of all the crossovers, I know that a few people really like the Turtles crossover, but to me, this is the one that makes the most sense. Two different worlds could be living in the exact same universe. And I think as kids, us guys in our 40s, early 50s, growing up on this is what I wanted to see. There's no doubt about it. Bobby Wolf says, it's what I imagine Tony the Tiger Larpog would look like. All right. And Russell Lemieux says there is 6 good guys and 1 baddie he done. Isn't that always how it was, though, for the most part? I mean, I feel like that's how it always went. Clinton Jorgensen jumping in here saying he can be ridden by Snarf and Orko crossover. Okay. Why does Orko need to ride anyone? He floats. Debo DNA jumping in here saying, "What's up?" Just jumped in with a like to boot. Thank you very much. That is appreciated. And then, now, see, there is no one that's putting this head sculpt on. All right. I mean, can we all agree that everyone's going to have it as Mumra? No one is doing this. All right. I don't need a RAM version of Skeletor. So, here's the back of the wings. Now, this is what I had noticed. It has 2 pegs, and I thought, is this for Battle Cat? Does he plug in? Like, is that how he goes? So, Graph has joined us saying, I missed the Motu portion of the show. Oh, Thundercats. Well, it is part of it, right? Just Jeff says, I'll disagree to just be that guy. Fuck you, skeleton. Fuck you, skeleton mummy man. And Victor says they need to do a crossover with Thundar. It'll be interesting to see how it'll be interesting to see how far they go. In all honesty, because there's a lot of different things they can do. The question is, will they? So anyway, here we have the new Eternia. We just saw Terror Claws and Ninjor. Tila, you have a Hordak that's coming soon. Cobra Khan, I might pick that up if I see it. He's always been one of my favorite Motu characters. I think these look good. I mean, I really like Stratos. I always like Stratos. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I actually want it like that to make everything bigger. I always like Stratos. I always thought he was super cool. I like those flying figures. Here's your cartoon collection, Fangman, your Shadow Weaver, Bo. He's stupid. Whiplash. Chrysler, I had no care for. I didn't care for him until I saw the mirror, and then I'm like, I just want the fucking mirror. And then you have your Thundercats crossover right here. Tiger looks really good. Panthro again, and then you have your He-Man. So this is the crossover, in my opinion, as a kid, other than G.I. Joe and Transformers, that I would have wanted. All right. So there you go. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to play my commercial, but I just need a quick little break. So here's a little thing from Mossman. Tony, I hope you're watching. I know you love Mossman.
Oh, hey guys. So Lawrence, he had to step away for a little bit. He's got a case of the grumble dust. So he asked me to kind of watch over a stream. He put me in charge of y'all. He said to me, "Oh, Mossman, I have a case of the grumble dust, and I need you to watch myself for a little bit so nobody leaves and finds out that there's more interesting things to watch on YouTube. And also, I hate Ohio." So I was like, oh, dang, so now I have to come up with a topic for my very own show. And I was like, oh, what about talking about your favorite toy stores? So my favorite toy store is HelloDopeToys.com. So they used to have this really bad website. It used to look real scammy. Like if I gave them money, they were going to go spend it on like blow and hookers. But now their website is really nice. And like I can just go in and do like 1-2 click. And then my order's placed. And they ship super fast, guys. They ship everything in 1 business day. So like I get all my toys first. So when I'm out there on the playground and all my friends are like, oh, dang, Mossman, where'd you get that action figure? I still have to wait 17 months for mine. And I'm just like, well, I went to HelloDopeToys.com and I just pushed the buttons and then they shipped it out to me. And the packaging is so nice, guys. Like, I opened up the box. I thought, oh, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this kind of packaging. It's so nice. But then my trash can gets full because of all the packing stuff. And I was just like, oh, dang, I just changed the trash. But now I gotta change the trash again. Oh, you're right, Matthew Matson. You can use the code APWT at HelloDopeToys.com and save 10% on your order. So how that works is, so you're gonna save 10%, and then Punk with Toys, he has to pay that 10% that y'all save. So if you don't like Lawrence, you can just go to helldopetoys.com and just buy a bunch of stuff and rack up his bill. So then, like, at the end of the month, they're like, Hella Dope Toys is like, oh, Lawrence, you owe us $1 million because of all the 10% codes that everybody used. And yeah, that's how that works. Okay, guys, so it looks like it's time for me to go now. So make sure you go to helldopetoys.com and like and subscribe, and then in the comments put what your favorite toy store is. But if it's not helldopetoys.com, I'm probably just going to delete it, okay? So, alright guys, bye!
All right, we had Norkel voted, who jumped in here saying Mossman is the man. I have to agree. We have Hurricane Live saying, is Mossman a good guy, a bad guy? I only know I love me some Mossman, enabling my questionable spending habits. That is a really good question. Maybe Ted, maybe in the next commercial, Mossman can address whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. We know he worked with Skeletor, but I'm not sure if he's on the outs with Skeletor. And Laura Palmer jumping in saying, what fresh hell is this? That's Mossman for Hella Dope Toys. And you will never see Mossman or say, oh no, ever again the same way. Because that is how Mossman says, oh no. And he's awesome. All right, on to some McFarlane toys. Every time I bring up McFarlane, I get a little sadder knowing that one day we may not see him creating Batman. But until that day, we're going to get lots of Batman. Ooh, did I forget to reorder these? Ooh, I hope I didn't forget to reorder these. Anyway, we have Dark Knight Metal Batman. Now, once again, I do not know if DC and Warner Brothers have said guns are okay now, go for it, or if Todd is just saying, fuck you, they're getting guns, we're losing the license anyway. All right. I don't know what the hell this Batman is, but he looks pretty damn cool. I just don't like Batman with guns. I'll just say this. But I love the color scheme. I think I'd like it more if it wasn't Batman, but I like the white and the gray, and I like the light blue. All right. So, I mean, he's like Spawn Batman, right? Loaded up with guns and shit like that. But it has the metal on it. Again, if you need a stand, there you go. I think everyone needs a stand with McFarlane. They don't do it that. They don't stand that well. But it is a cool looking character, but just not my cup of tea when it comes to Batman. That is for sure. Delora Palmer saying, "Thank goodness for small miracles, I suppose." Are you still talking about Mossman? Mossman is awesome. Where's Pina Colada Batman? Yeah, Graf saying gotta go out with a bang. It's crazy. Clint says who is going to get McFarlane's time when they lose the DC license? Super 7? I'm not. Oh no, McFarlane's still gonna make a bunch of stuff. He's getting his hands in all kinds of. But when DC starts making, when Mattel starts making DC figures, maybe we'll have some good-looking, better-looking figures that we can actually talk about that fit in scale. So anyway, here is Dark Knight Metal. If you want it, I don't know if we need another one. Clinton Jorgensen says Storm Shadow Batman. Hurricane Live, you get a gun. You get a gun. Every figure gets a gun. That's pretty much what he's doing, right? Ross, man. If this is a basic release, you might be right. Delta 17, Steve jumping in here saying this guy is cool. I have 0 Batmans here and would definitely consider picking this up. See? So as much as we, make jokes about it, or I make jokes, there are people that like this type of stuff. It's not for me, but that's the cool thing. I don't have to buy it. Now we have the Super Friends. Now I I can't say I have any interest in the Super Friends, but man, I think these things are really cool. And I think this is the type of stuff that a lot of collectors our age, this is the type of stuff we want. Because they look like the Super Friends. So here is Batman with a short little cape, soft goods. Again, why they can constantly give these soft good capes, but others can't, I don't understand. Basically, I'm looking at you, Marvel Legends. Why can't you do soft goods capes? Just Jeff says, if Super 7 gets to the DC, I'll burn every Batman piece of merch I have. Why would you do that? Like, now, there you're just hurting yourself. Rowdy Ryle says, I only have Batman Beyond left. All my other McFarlane is gone. Man, I love Batman Beyond. I really do. The 3:32 a.m. Batman figure. They're pretty much a Turo. And Arturo Valadez. And you may be like asking, how do you know how to say Arturo? And that is because there is a professional skateboarder named Arturo. So I've heard the name numerous times. But look at this. You get like the Super Friends card, this big batarang. You get the comms that they always talked on. And look, you can even hold it. Here's the packaging. Again, those colors are absolutely awesome. There's nothing that yells Super Friends more than this. And here's the back of it. Now, you know Todd, and if he has his, chance, he is going to produce all of these figures that we're seeing here. So, hopefully, for the people that want this stuff, we're gonna get it. All right? Well, you'll get it. Here we have Green Lantern with the bat. I tend to remember this. I tend to remember him with the bat. This looks awesome. Debo DNS says, I wonder if the Wonder Twins will come with a bucket of water. Thank you. I just went to the dentist. Do you know, like, if you have teeth, you have to go to the dentist? It's actually one of the ways you keep your teeth. I'm just if anyone out there, they need to know about general hygiene and care with their teeth, you should see a dentist. But I was there. I was getting my teeth cleaned. And somehow the Wonder Twins came up. And this lady, she's a little bit older than me. And we were talking about it. And I'm like, the one I remember most is one turns into a beaver and one turned into snowballs. So they could shoot it. Matthew, you're right. You don't have to go to a dentist, but it's a good idea, right? I guess, again, it's a smart play. Brick something says, if these Super Friends designs were done in the standard McFarlane DC buck, I would have gone in and got them. Those looks are my childhood. I kind of like them being a little bit smaller. They take up less space. And I don't think you're going to have a huge line. And you're not going to be able to really set them up in like too many type of displays, photography, Graph here is saying dentists are for chumps. Sure they are. Baldy Fucks Reviews jumping in here saying, I saw a movie on RedTube and the Wonder Twins came with water and other stuff too. Okay. Tomorrow, I do believe there will still be a Circle of Jerks. This is the guy that I'm waiting on to create thumbnails and a link. And even though I'm not going to be on it, I'm still trying to find out if he wants me to put it on the channel, as I am part of the quad. I don't know what the hell we're calling each other. So anyway, here is your Green Lantern. Okay, so you created while I was doing this, so I will probably put it out even though I won't be on. If I can tune in while driving or maybe in the parking lot of a it's kind of morbid, but if I can jump on screen for a few minutes, I will. Lex Luthor here with his saw. I don't know what the hell this thing is. I tend to remember it, but I don't fully remember it. But anyway, Lex Luthor looks exactly how I remember him in the Super Friends for sure. Will R saying, "Love my Dennis DDS Bender." Dr. Isaac Yankum, he was my favorite. Dr. Isaac Yankum, if you remember that. This guy has such a clean shaven head. I'm very jealous of it. I don't know if I'm jealous of those eyebrows, but I know there's a lot of women that would love those eyebrows. So anyway. And then Sinestro. I absolutely love Sinestro. He has a giant head. I mean, this looks straight out of the cartoon. Then I tend to remember the giant wrench. I don't know why, but I fully remember this giant wrench. So, again, I'm glad that people are getting these. I really am. I just hope that you're able to get the whole line, the whole wave, considering he's going to be losing the license. So here we have your Dr. Fate. I think this figure looks really good. Again, I just hate is he a dentist? You know what? Maybe he is, and he has to pull out those really bad cavities. He has to extract them. Victor, yeah, too bad he doesn't have more POA. Yeah, points of articulation is not the strong suit when it comes to a McFarlane, especially when it comes to a little bit smaller. Yeah, J. Astro also says he looks like he's about to pull someone's fucking teeth out with those pliers. Where is Molar? Anyway, Dr. Fate, I think, looks really good. And Todd seems to do much better when he doesn't have to have an actual face sculpt, just a helmet. Some of the face sculpts do look really good. You have nice soft goods, which looks like it has a wire cape. Once again, if McFarlane can do it, Marvel Legends, I'm looking at you. You can do it too. You are so stuck with these plastic capes, and I don't know why. All right, so there's your Dr. Fate. The back of it. So this is the Superman that everyone wants. Tony's Figs was whining and crying about how he had to get it. Although he keeps buying like different Superman. I think this one looks really good. I do think he did a really good job on this. It looks like he may have fixed the waist. So there's not the big gap. We know a lot of those, there was a really big gap in it. Again, the pins. This is the reason why people are happy that he's losing. One of the reasons why they're happy that he's losing the license. Kiwi GI Customs jumping in here saying, "Hey there, everyone. He will also be a guest on Thursday with a Friend in about 2 weeks, actually less than 2 weeks, to be honest." And Baldy Fucks Review saying, "That Soups is great." I agree. I think he looks good. Soft good capes. It's Gonzo jumping in here saying, "What's up, everyone? APWT." The hands always look kind of weird. They look like they're giant hands, but again, I think this is a Superman. If this is what you're going to get towards the end of the line, I think you're getting what you want. Of course, when Mattel does it, they'll probably do better ones than this. Look at those giant fucking pins. I'm sorry, I can't get over it. I'm not even a hater of pins, but those are just huge. MCR says the face screams classic Superman. Yeah, I think they did a good job. I think they did a really good job of mixing classic and everything. And you even get the yellow on the back of the cape. So Todd does some things right. He does some things wrong. And then you get this Two-Face here. Kind of hit or miss for me. It's not that interesting in my opinion. But if this is what you need, a Two-Face, and you think this is the classic version, this is a phygital, which means you get a digital version, which is a picture. I guess you're supposed to be able to pose the digital versions. I don't get it. I don't know why. That's why I buy the action figures. So there you go with your Two-Face if you actually are interested in that. Oops. Told you the slides were out of order here. That's the end of it. Woo! Look at that. And we finished McFarlane. We're way behind. Or are we? I think we're about the same where we normally are. Where's Apache Chief? Man. Apache Chief was awesome. And then who was his nemesis? Who was Apache Chief's nemesis? The female that also grew. Yeah. I see his dog with those pins maximum. Yes, those are maximum pins that are totally there. And Arturo says, my collection needs a good Power Girl. I know a lot of people are really, really happy with the Power Girl. I think that she's a little bit too small up top. And that's because Power Girl is just not, and I think most people would agree with that. But I think that figure looks really good. And we have Gareth Widger saying Giganta, Action Figs, Lone Dragon. Thank you guys very much. That's what you guys are here for. You guys are my my research. So, all right, a little SH Figuarts. Let's get a little bit of Star Wars as we're going into May the Power of the Force, which I should have mentioned at the beginning. 89 of you watching right now. Hey, before we get into this, let's remove this quickly. We are doing, once again, May the Power of the Force. This is the middle. I should have mentioned this at the beginning because there's more people watching right now. May the Power of the Force. If you want to be part of the reviewers, hit me up or hit Allison up. What we are reviewing this year are the prequel classic, the original prequel figures, the 3.75 figures that came out for the prequels. The reason why we do this is May the Power of the Force. We did it last year as a joke. We had a lot of fun. It gives you a chance to maybe put your foot into, just step into doing reviews. Maybe you want to do something different, just to be part of it, right? And we pick a line that most of these figures you can get still pretty cheap. I think Tony ordered it. I think Tony ordered his Darth Maul today while I was on the phone with him for like $16 on eBay. So you can still find these figures, and that's with a vehicle. That's with his little vehicle. So it's a lot of fun. And once we know who you want, who it is that you're going to review, I'm going to schedule it to let you know what date you're going to put it out there. Allison is going to kind of like create something. So every single week we let people know, hey, this is the schedule. It doesn't go up on my channel. Like last year, people were like, so do you want us to send you? No. I don't want people to create content for me to put on my channel. It's for we can all do this. But yeah, and so Allison here is saying there are also like 20 different versions of each character, so don't worry so much about picking someone else to carry. Yeah, and again, this is fun. We're reviewing figures that are 25 years old or older, right? So it's just fun. And Rowdy, if you want in, message me, message Allison. Let us know what figure you want to do. And once we have everything situated, we're going to tell you when each one is going to go on. All right. If we have more than 31, because it's 31 days in May, we'll just double it up. Have one go on at 8:30 and another one go on at one goes on at 8. That's what time we drop them, Eastern Standard Time, and then maybe someone does like 8:30 or 9, depending on the video. It's a lot of fun. I will kick it off with the first one, which right now I'm planning on doing Anakin and his pod racer, and Allison will bookend it at the end. I haven't talked to Allison, but we'll probably do a live stream before then and probably at the end. Again, had a blast. I know Allison has to reach out to, her community because I'm starting really late on this. But again, you can walk into almost any toy stores and pick one up. And again, it's just fun. Do it anyway. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be like a real review like normal. It's again, these are 25 years old. No one is gonna like see a review of this figure and be like, wow, you know what I need to do? I really need to get into this line of prequel figures from 25 years ago. So if you're all into it, check it out. Hit me up, hit Allison up, all right? So back to SH Figuarts, Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's so much to like about this. There's so much not to. I think this buck looks really good. I mean, this could be your Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is my favorite character in all of the Star Wars land. This version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not Alec Guinness. Not that I don't like Alec Guinness, but man, did Obi-Wan age a lot from episode 3 to episode 4. I think Ewan McGregor is an absolute wonderful actor, and very seldom do you ever look at of an actor that took over another known character and say he made it his. But I believe Ewan McGregor did. But this looks really good. The body, the buck, the soft goods. The head sculpt, not so much. This is where you kind of lose me. I'm not going to lie. Just as Tatooine, life hard. Tatooine is a harsh environment, I guess, but man, he can't really. He gets pretty beat up. I do like the fact that he gave they gave him the hand. So when he's about to fight General Grievous, Ewan's uncle was Alec. No, he was related to. He's related to the TIE fighter pilot. That's his uncle, not the TIE fighter pilot, the X-wing pilot. Who is it? Ed, hurry up! Tell me, Ed. Tell me. Yes, Wedge. Ewan's uncle is Dennis Lawson, Wedge Antilles. Thank you very much. That's right. You fucking tell him. You tell him, Ed. You fucking tell him he was wrong. Matter of fact, Ed, go in the mods chat. Let Matthew know that he was wrong. We have proof. Screenshot it. Snowwolf says, Three Stooges fingers. Now this right here, like, oh my God, like, someone tell them to go fix their fucking face sculpts. Look at these two figures. They look awesome. You know what this looks like? I got a picture. This exact same picture. Honestly, I have this exact same picture. I should go get it. Hold on one second. You know what? We're gonna play a quick commercial. I'm gonna go grab something. I think I can get off my wall really quick. So hold on one second. Let me see if I can find something here, because I do have a mod that did give me a commercial.
Idiots! Incompetent buffoons! What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought! Are you watching that show again? Yes. Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode, and hit that bell notification.
All right, so you can see this picture here. All right, and see how bad those face sculpts are. So when we were at Disney World, my son and I took a picture, and our face sculpts look better than that fucking thing that they're showing there. Get that straight. But that's the picture that it's supposed to be. And I didn't even notice it until I was just sitting here. And I'm like, hey, that's the picture that we took. Now, I did see what Lone Dragon said, and that's just absolutely... You picked the wrong time to try and be funny with this one. Anyway, like, that's a picture, and I'm sorry. This one looks way better than those face sculpts that we were just looking at. So anyway. But if you want it, there you go. And you can kind of see them fighting. I don't know. I just think these head sculpts are so... They don't look good. I don't know how you can really argue with that. But you can if you want to. I'm not going to waste my time. You are Clown 57 says, the paint color makes it look like he isn't wearing any. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. And then we have 19 Jays who jumped in here, saying that it was Wedge. All right, man, a lot of people are still saying Wedge. All right, on to a little NECA now. All right, now this is when I fully 100%. Well, I guess I had a Sherlock who is jumping in here. So this is Allison. I expect you to shine right now because Friday the 13th, Jason's mom is here. I'm assuming that there will be some sort of story about this is one of her ex's moms, the way she looked. Now, once again, I will say this. For the price that you normally pay for a NECA figure, they give you some amazing accessories. Now we have an axe, a machete, a broken oar, bow and arrow. I'm sorry, a bow, 4 different arrows, a knife. And I tell you what, this woman looks fucking crazy. All right, that is the best way to put it. Now, my guess is the articulation is not going to be great. Now, it also looks like she could fit in with a few other lines. I'm thinking like Planet of the Apes. Like, she looks like she could be one of the apes. All right? No one get mad at me about it. It is an action figure. But yeah. But I can see the actual... I can actually see the resemblance from what I can remember of the TV show. But look at that. You can tell me that doesn't look like straight out of Planet of the Apes. 19J says, hopefully she doesn't want to see the manager.
My nose look purple, puffy.
I can't see.
Okay.
And then we have a Sherlock saying, a member for 6 months. So you know what you get with that. You get a
fucking Phil Collins.
This one makes me laugh. Tebow says, Karen's attack. I want to speak to the manager. It's taken a whole different life and everything. Completely different. So, but here's the or. Now I don't fully remember this Friday the 13th. I do remember that Jason wasn't the original killer. It wasn't until later on. Baldy Fox Review says, kind of want this. I can kind of see you getting this. A Craft saying, cool Ron Perlman figure. I can't unsee that. Afflicted Studios jumping in here saying, she looks like she can fit in with the Golden Girls. You know, there's a few people that I've seen recently that look like they could fit in with the Golden Girls. Some of them look like they're like strung out. Like they look like strung out Golden Girls. Yeah, it's not a good look. I don't know what's wrong with some people these days. But again, NECA makes some really good sculpts at times. Articulation is left to the imagination. And I'm not talking about the articulation like with Mythic Legions. But yeah. And oh yeah, NECA does make the Golden Girl. So yeah, I have the Golden Girl. So I love it. So maybe you need this to go with her. This could be the Crazy Blanche. This could be when Blanche has had enough of Sophia's shit. See, Roddy Ross said, I bought NECA Megan, and I think it was my last NECA figure. See, that's the thing. I think that the gargoyles were awesome. I think that they're really good. A lot of articulation, a lot that can be done with them. And then I got the Assassin's Creed figures, and the greatest sculpts are great, very little articulation. Same with the arm. They didn't do Army of Darkness. They did the Evil Dead, and then they did Ash vs. Evil Dead. I don't think they have the rights to. I'm sure they have the rights to Army of Darkness, and very disappointing. And it actually has kept me from buying the next set because they really didn't give them any better articulation. These are true like statues in many, many ways. But she does look like a Crazy Blanche. Here she's like sneaking around the corner. She's going to take out Dorothy. Rowdy says those Assassin's Creed figures were originally from when Brotherhood came out. Well, again, I was told that they were repaints, but still, I think they could have done better. And then Alice and Troy, a member for 23 months. Shit, I've had memberships for almost 2 years.
Fucking Phil Collins.
And I only know that because I think Allison was the second person to become a member. I'm never going to say her last name. Len Sharanovich, Shrevant. Olivia had it, I think. She looks like Zira. I don't know who Zira is. And this here is when Rose is trying to get away. She's going to take Rose out. She's not getting away from that, from that house. So it probably wouldn't have been the worst thing. I love the Golden Girls. They have a special place in my heart for some really weird reasons. Anyway, so if you want it, the detail on it, look at the detail on the sweater. I guess the articulation here doesn't look awful. But I've said it before, some of these figures and solicitation, like when you get a Mezco, these people are willing to push things to a point where we're not, because we don't just have another figure that we can grab. And here's like look, this is like all 4 Golden Girls. This is all 4 evil Golden Girls all on the same package. Ted Knight says Blanche had enough of Rose's St. Olaf stories. You know, there are so many people that will tell you that they don't like the Golden Girls, yet everyone seems to know about the Golden Girls. Kind of funny how that is, isn't it? All right. Dude, she does. Does she not look like she's from Planet of the Apes? I mean, I'm sorry. It's like when you look at that, yeah, I saw it like right away. All right, so this went up on Tuesday, so I'm way late. I'm way late. So you probably heard everyone talk about it, but we got some Marvel Legends to talk about. This has made so many people mad. They probably finally gotten over it, and now they're like some fucking worst ass, annoying YouTube reviewers gonna bring it back up, and now I'm gonna be all maximum about it. So starting with the Marvel Legends, the actual Thunderbolts. This is from Marvel Studios. If these figures come out looking the way these digital renders do, and we know sometimes the digital renders do not look the same as the actual action figures, I think this looks great, and I think this figure looks awesome. I like the suit. I think this is a great suit for so many things. If you have G.I. Joes that, you know, you have some female characters, you just want them in just like a regular military style suit, some sort of track suit, some training suit. Here you go. But this face sculpt looks really, really good. There is absolutely no doubt about it. I don't think they need to try and show her that she could do a flying sidekick. But it does, again, I'm impressed with this. Now, I do believe they threw this in a 2-pack because, you know, I think between the 2 of the figures that come in this pack, you might want one and you're not willing to spend it, not willing to buy both. Now you're kind of forced to. Yeah, Baldilocks, I think you're right. I think that this one will sell out for customizers, at least when it goes on clearance. And the only reason why I say that is almost every single Marvel, like the studios figures, they almost all go on clearance. Now this head sculpt looks really good. I do like where they have the gun back here. Marvel Legends, you need to start creating some new weapons. I'm gonna tell you. Backwoods jumping in here says, "Wow, this looks great. Gonna go great. This, I think this is voice to text. Wow, this looks great. Gonna look great for the Joe team. You know, you guys don't help it if it doesn't make sense, and I have to figure it out. But he's got, you know, these 2, I think, Desert Eagles. She has a small little pistol. Again, not a lot. And this is kind of what bothers a lot of people. You know, 2 head sculpts, 2 hands. Not a lot for what you're asking. At least give a few blast effects, different things that you guys already have. And we've talked about this before. But I think these actually look really, really good. Aaron says, that's why we need a tracker figure for gym suit head swaps. So here we have U.S. Agent. I know people are mad about the U.S. Agent. I don't know why. Just move along. But if your gripe is that they're throwing him in a 2-pack because everyone knows they're going to want the other character, then I guess I can understand you kind of having a gripe in it. They did talk about the shield, that the shield has some scuff marks on it. He is supposed to be, I believe, a new sculpt, a new buck and everything. When people get mad about this, and you understand they signed a contract, and I'm guarantee you in that contract, it says that, hey, we have movies coming out and we want action figures because we're still selling to kids. People can sit there and say that no kids are buying this. That is bullshit. I don't believe that because kids will see these movies. Kids will want these figures. And then here we have Sentry. I'll say it again. I'm just going to point out. Why do my $20 McFarlane figures have soft, good capes that are actually pretty good capes, but for some odd reason, Hasbro cannot do it? I can't even say Hasbro, because we have no problem getting soft goods when it comes to Star Wars Black Series. But when it comes to this, not so much. I guess the figure looks good. I don't really know anything about. I mean, I know Sentry when I see him, but the actual actor, I don't know about the face sculpt. I don't really know who he is. I haven't paid attention too much to it. Now look, Sherlock here says, my kid is buying some of them. Yeah, I think you're going to have a lot of kids. I mean, these are adult collectibles. I get that. But again, it's, it's one of those things. So, only 2 fists. And then you get a shit. Now, again, I fully understand. And this is, in my opinion, yeah, this is not enough for a 2-pack. That's going to be the $50 price point range, I believe. And that's something that they need to rectify. They need to rectify that, because there's other things that you already have made that you can just throw in here. All right. Shouldn't US Agent have a pistol? I mean, I see it. I see a holster. I mean, there shouldn't be any holsters that have integrated pistols. They should be able, they should have secondary pistols. All right. This one caused a lot of problems. I think I talked about this at the beginning. This is Emo Spider-Man from Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 is not the worst superhero movie. It's not even close to being the worst superhero movie. Is it a great one? No. Is it entertaining? Can I watch it? Yes. There are some superhero movies that we cannot watch. But I think that this is awesome. I think this is so cool just for that head sculpt, because everyone loves that scene. Everyone hates that scene, but they love that scene. And I know I was watching Robo Don't Know, and he was talking about how the graphic is actually different between his 2 characters. So, now I did mention earlier, if you missed out on this, go ahead. Head over to Hello Dope Toys. They had it for $30. Use my code APWT. You'll get 10% off. That's going to make it $27. Now, the other thing that a few people have made comments on is, and that it's on my post for this, is that one person said, yeah, for 15, this figure should be $15. Another person said, yeah, maybe for $5. All right. Now, the $5, he's probably being a little facetious. $15, let me just explain something to you. The figures are not even being produced for $15. For some odd reason, when someone sees $30 price point, they think that means that Hasbro is making $30 off the fucking figure. I don't know why we have to constantly go through economics with people, but let's just explain something to all the people that think that, hey, you know what? Hasbro pockets $30 on each fucking figure. They don't. All right. You have manufacturing. You have to pay for those employees. You have to pay for the designers. You probably have to pay for the rights. You probably have to give some money to Tobey Maguire for using the likeness on him. You have to pay for shipping overseas. And then you have to get it to Target and Walmart and Hello Dope Toys, and then they have to make a profit, because oddly enough, all these companies that are fucking putting shit out there, guess what? They're not putting shit out there for free. They also want to make a profit. It's kind of crazy. These businesses, this is going to sound crazy. These businesses, they're there to make money. They're not your friends. They don't want to give you product. They want you to purchase the product. But the fact that anyone thinks that this thing should cost $15, or any G.I. Joe Classified, Marvel Legends, Black Series should cost $15, if you truly believe that, you're a fucking moron. Anyway. And Jeff, I don't know why you hate this exists. You don't have to buy it. Travis from a Toy Academy. I put that out there. I don't pay attention to the prices. Entertainment Earth usually doesn't jack up the price, but man, they jacked it up. And that's why I say Hella Dope Toys right now, they had it for $30 if it's still available. Yes, but I have to laugh. Why $38? It's like they fucking weren't thinking. Frank Schuler jumping in here says, I look at stuff like Jada Street Fighter figures and immediately wonder why more action figure lines can't be made that good. I assume the difference is licensing fees must be part of it, but damn. Also, I think a lot of it has to do, and you have and this is a valid point. This is the type of argument that I'm up for having with people. And I can't say that I have the answer or the right answer for it. But going back to saying that Hasbro is not your friend, I'm not saying you. There are some companies that they want to make more of a profit. Jada, just like McFarlane, might be happy selling more or making a less of a profit than what Hasbro is. Hasbro also has a lot more employees that they have to pay. So somewhere, you have to come up with that money. But I do understand, like, that is a valid argument that I have no problem somebody saying. Like, why is Jada doing such good figures for $25? Now with the tariffs, things may change. And I think a lot of it does come to corporate greed. Now, and there's lots of ways to look at that. And the question is, I understand cars are about to go through the fucking roof. I don't know who's ever going to buy a new fucking car. Now, what's funny is that if you guys were all buying American, we wouldn't have this fucking problem. Sorry. That's my Detroiter coming out of me. You should buy fucking American. Stop buying those goddamn fucking foreign cars. That's as political as I'm going to get with that shit. Although the cars that are made in Canada, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get into that. Okay. My whole family works for the auto industry. Pop Blender jumping here saying, I tried to go through economics last night and turn it into a shit show. No. Yeah, I don't even want to go into it. I don't even want to get into it. Anyway, I missed a lot of stuff. Yeah, anyway, if you want it, here you go. If you don't want it, don't buy it. Just move on with your life. I should move on with it. All right. Delta 17 right here. Steve, after tooling, production, shipping, import fees, and many other expenses, $15 is almost cost. And this is a guy that helps produce, this is a guy that has his own toy line. So, and now you're looking at vendors, everything else. This is a different scale. Now, again, before someone says, I think the argument I hate is that, well, Hasbro is a $1 billion company. Yes, they're a $1 billion company for a reason. And that is because they like to make money. So anyway, if you want it, get it. If you don't want it, just move on. This Spider-Man, this also made a lot of people mad. I like the colors. I know nothing about the Spider-Man. What I can say about the Spider-Man, even though I think it looks pretty cool, it has fucking pins. Right? I think at this point, yeah, there's maybe one or two too many Spider-Men being made so far this year. No, I don't think so. Usually the argument I hear is, aren't most foreign cars made here in in the U.S., and that's not fully accurate either. But Ford, GM, Chrysler, they all have a lot of plants in Canada and in Mexico. And again, I'm not even going to get into that because those things usually just kind of go. They buy a lot of our vehicles. We buy. It's all American made. Again, we're not America. We're the United States of America. America is a whole, with 2 different continents. Not going to get into it. Not going to get into it. All right, I can't. This is why I have to actually calm myself down. This is why I have to settle myself down. All right, or I'll be reaching out to a bunch of old fuckers that worked in the auto industry that don't know how to use YouTube coming in. But anyway, the best thing about this, it's only available at Walmart. So good luck getting it. So if you don't like it, it's Walmart exclusive. Probably never going to see it. All right. Weapon X. I heard people mad about this. I understand. This is one of those things where it can only be used, in my opinion, for so many different scenes. And I think people need it to complete their collection, but I don't think it's a must for everyone. Now, this is a Target exclusive, as you should be able to see the Target other than the A Punk with Toys is in its way. So, every now and then you have to create a character that's not everyone's going to want, but it is part of a collection. Not everyone is buying or coming in. They've been in forever. A lot of new people. All right. People want Weapon X. There you go. A naked Wolverine. And he actually does come with a good amount of stuff. So you can't even say they're not giving you stuff. There he is on the card back. And then we have Mystique. Now, they talked about this. It's been a while since they put this one out. She is on a different buck. Now, it is time that it's time to retire some of these weapons, Marvel Legends. They've been out for quite some time. Let's design a few new weapons. I understand everything is budgetary, but stop giving those really, and they're not the worst weapons, but come on. I do think this is good. All right. A double pinless joints, double pinless knees. It looks like she can run. Now, this is the perfect place where you have soft goods, but they don't have soft goods. I don't know why Marvel Legends is so against soft goods, but this would have been great for soft goods. All right. She does come with this Jean Grey head. They talked about it, that it was only available on one character, so they gave it to you, but it's done now on the new photoreal printers, so it looks better. But yeah, it's but they gave it to her because she's meant to change, so you can use it on that other buck that you have for Jean Grey, or you can put it on her like she's transforming. Charlotte says no pins, and she's not even maximum. I'm interested to get the maximum Spider-Man. I know other people have it. Clinton Jorgensen says, "Is this Jennifer Lawrence or Uncle Jesse's wife?" I don't think it's either or. If it was one, I would say it's Uncle Jesse's wife. But here's everything that you do get. Now, again, this is a Target exclusive. When the complaint comes about this is how much you get, but for $28, I believe it was, that Black Widow, which is one of my favorite figures and one of the best figures I've ever had, came with a whole shitload of stuff, including multiple hands, 3 different head sculpts. Didn't have any rifles, but had a bunch of a couple different pistols and blast effects, yeah, there is a complaint there. Like, why was that one that price? That figure is so good too. So, Toy Matrix jumping here saying, "Yo, Punk, Snow Job, and Spirit, and all the Joes with animal companions are all grails for me. So I'm very excited for Law and Order." Oh, Law and Order look awesome. All right, now to these Madam Mask. Now I have for a while I was using my Valaverse figures for Serpentor's army, the coil. But since I'm no longer collecting Valaverse, I need to find something else. And I think that this 2-pack fits perfect. These are going to be two of Serpentor's main, main lieutenants, captains, whatever you want to call them. I like the big buck here. I like this Madam Mask. I like the fact that she comes with a suitcase full of money. These guns are perfectly fine, although I'll be changing them out. Here, Crossbones is going for a jog. Let's say going for a jog. Looks like they're going to be beating the shit out of this blast effect. They'll be putting it with everything. And here's everything that you get. So, again, they give you a bunch of stuff. This I don't mind. So you look at this 2-pack compared to the other one, and you're just going, all right, why is there so much more here? Is it really the likeness that's causing that much to be used? And Rowdy, yeah, you're right, but that is the name of that's the name of the game. I really do think that. Like, that is totally the name of the game when it comes to all of this. That is how these lines, they increase their budgets. Again, I will say it till I'm blue in the fucking face, whatever that means. $1 billion company, not $1 billion brands. But I think this looks good. I think both these figures look really good. Yeah, and Woody says, yeah, copying these for my Joes. I'm with you 100%. These are going. I plan on getting these, and they will go directly with Serpentor's army. So there's your Madam Mask and Crossbones. I think they both look good. Again, I think this gold goes awesome with Serpentor and his air chariot. All right. And it's an Amazon exclusive. Goes up on the 30th. So, all right, Rowdy. Get ready for your cold shower. Fantastic Four She-Hulk. You're out of oxygen for screaming. Well, you're going to be out of oxygen again. Just Jeff says, I'm on the fence on that, but I like a lot of it. Again, it's not for everyone. I think, I think everyone can agree with that. Oh, shit, dude. Well, you're in trouble because now you're going for Madam Mask, and I know what you think of She-Hulk here. So, She-Hulk has, speaking of hot, she comes with 2 weights, 2 different head sculpts, obviously 2 different sets of hands. When I was watching Robo Don't Know, he said that the 4 is sculpted in there, so it is a different sculpt. Man, these are some hell of a shoulder raises. Like, this is shoulder flies here, like with dumbbells like that. I mean, I know that she's, she has gamma radiation, but damn. Oh, look, she has Obi-Wan's 2 hands. Or is it the Three Stooges? Now, the one thing that I could hear in masses, the people screaming was, "Oh, here she is. We did her on this Iron Man buck, or on this Iron Man card, then on a Fantastic card. Maybe someday we'll get her on a Hulk card." And I could hear the people screaming because they pretty much told you, "Oh, don't worry, there's gonna be one on a Hulk on a Hulk card also eventually. K2, K9 jumping in here. Woody is going to get like 20 of those Madam and Crossbone packs. That guy is the Earl of Army Building. Oh, he is something else. And I don't believe that I've ever seen you in here. So welcome and thank you. Love having new people that I'm seeing in here. But yeah. So there you go. If you want it, I know Rowdy's getting it. I know Riles is getting it. So again, three sets of hands, and you gotta love the thumbs up and the little piece hand. It's just something different. I love the weights. I wish with the GI Joes, rather than give the same weights between Sergeant Slaughter and Big Bo, I wish they would have made them. They could have been the exact same weights, just put different weight on them, so they look a little bit different. Just Jeff says, I like the Hulk cartoon. They had a 90-minute block of Fantastic Four, Iron Man, and then the Hulk. I don't remember that. I'm not questioning you. I don't remember that. The only 90-minute block was the Smurfs on Saturday morning. That is the 90-minute block that I remember. John Battle jumping in here saying, hey, Punk again. If they can give Joe's a moving neck and weapons and a set of hands, you should be able to do the same for Marvel Legends line. Well, God, I'm trying to think of so I have to say I don't disagree completely with everything that you're saying. You can get more from a Joe for the same price or even cheaper because they own the property. That is just a given fact. When it comes to articulation, there are two different designers, like in-house designers. Well, more than that, because you have Black Series, which is going to be designed different. And then you have your Marvel Legends. Marvel Legends normally have that, and I didn't realize until someone pointed it out to me, the way the waist twists that they don't like. They wish it was more like Classified, because it dips down. It doesn't have a break in it. I don't understand why there's so much difference with some of the stuff. Like, you would think they would design a lot of them to be much alike. You look at like a Valaverse figure, you look at Operation Monster Force, and you look at G.I. Joe Classified, they're very similar. But Marvel Legends has a specific way they do things. All right. On to Maximum Hulk. And I don't know what to say about this. I think it looks pretty good. I like the sculpt, but it has some fucking problems. First off, no double joints. Like, there is limited articulation with the arms, and that's a problem, especially when you're trying to say this is your maximum line, right? And then the legs have pins. Like, why? Like, why? Was everything that they did put into doing new head sculpts and then creating a new chest? So you were hiding the butterfly joints. Now, if this doesn't break down, awesome. You found a way to hide the butterfly joints without breaks, but yet you still gave pinned knees. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're saying you were worried about the breakup here, so you designed something different, which is awesome, but then you gave it old legs with pins. You give it toe articulation, which I don't see even pins there. But every single one of these shots, there is very, very little use of the arms because they only bend so much. Now, I think the head sculpts, I think everything else looks fine. I think the figure looks good. But when I look at this arm right here, how it's bent, and that's as far as it goes, that is a huge problem. Because you're calling this maximum. Now, as big as this thing is, and it's only $10 more for $60, I don't even really complain about the price point if you had better articulation in the arms and you had pinless joints in the legs. But I do think that there is some stuff that is problematic about this. And that's just from seeing it. All right. I ordered the Spider-Man. I don't think I'm going to order this. But I did order Spider-Man because I want a Spider-Man. I feel like I need a Hulk. I can make sure that L comes out or people get really mad. So I do see some things that are problematic with this. But yeah. Now, so Toy Metric says they probably have Storm's formula for chest. Now, I don't have any Storm collectibles. But you're not the first person to mention that. So I'm interested to see exactly in the reviewers, maybe someone will have that and kind of point that out. Just Jeff says, Lawrence, but the anniversary Hulk from a few years back, man, save some money. Like I said, I'm probably not planning on getting this. It has a huge range of articulation, like in the up top, moving back and forth, but I can't bend it. It just makes no sense. It makes very little sense. I feel like they missed. It's like they focused so much on one thing, but then messed up on something else. So I don't know. I think this was a total miss. Just from looking at it. Now, it may come out and completely wrong, but this here, having articulation like a NECA Army of Darkness or a NECA Evil Dead figure, not my favorite. So here's everything that you're going to get. 3 different head sculpts, 3 different sets of hands, a thunderclap, which also looks like it's a spider sense. I like the whipping motion. This could have been done a little bit better. And then you have a rocket. So, and here you can kind of see how it goes, and so you can see exactly how it moves. If that doesn't break down, great. And you can see exactly how far over this can go. And that's really nice. But then you didn't bother just fixing, giving more articulation in the arms. Here's how much bigger it is. And I was actually shocked that it was only $60. No, you're a clown. No, they said it was $60, I believe, in the chat when someone had asked. So there it is. If you want it, it's maximum, so you can be mad about it. Then they were showing you how big the next accessory for whatever figure is coming out is. Does anyone know what this is? If you do, please let me know. Toy Matrix. Okay, Spider-Man was 50. Hulk is 60. Punk making. I can't. I can't. That's why I said the Juggernaut. Okay. A Toy Matrix. I can't make it make sense. I think $60 for that big hunk of plastic, if it had better articulation in the arms and no pins, that makes sense. $50 for the Spider-Man. Now, I don't have Spider-Man in hand, and I've heard good things about it. I've also heard that probably $50 is too expensive. So, again, there are certain things. There's certain ways to look at it. I'm not sitting behind. I'm not working out the numbers, but if it only has a couple more points of articulation when it comes to maximum. Spider-Man. It is hard to say that it should be $50. So, whew. And then there is this. So if these two things now, I can see Psylocke with this for sure. But anyway, I guess we'll find out. All right. A little bit of Haya. We're going to kind of go through this pretty quickly because, man, sometimes I think I'm moving pretty quickly. I have to figure out a way to time my stuff a little bit better so I don't go 4 hours. All right. So here we have a 4-inch Spock from Strange New Worlds. You're going to see there's 3 figures in this. And the fact of the matter is, Haya cannot get face sculpts right. They don't look good. Some of their stuff looks really good, like buck-wise. Their head sculpts are shit. And I'm just going to say that. Let's see. Just says, me and some other guy will buy them. Are you talking about this Haya? So I do wonder, like, who wants these? And I don't mean that in a bad way, Jeff. This looks nothing like the Spock from Strange New Worlds. Roddy Ryle says, the only Star Trek we need are the Next Generation and original series. I disagree with that. But I do think that's where the majority of the people... Yeah. I do think that is where the majority of the people are at. So, looking at this, it just doesn't look really good. Like, someone tell me I'm wrong. Like, I need someone to say, no, I don't know what you're talking about. That face sculpt looks awesome. So here's the stand that you're gonna get. You're gonna get his phaser. His Vulking hands. Yeah, I can do it too. His Vulking neck pinch, that's pretty cool. And then his phaser gun. 4.17, so they're a little bit taller than the regular 4-inch figures. That head sculpt is awful. I don't know what else to say. So here we have from Strange New Worlds. Now this is on the 6-inch buck. Kind of weird they solicited them together. Now, I pointed out how some of these, they look like they're wearing these big, huge soft goods. This one, I think, actually looks pretty good. Except for the face sculpt. I think the suit actually looks pretty good. Ronnie says, the third plot, 4th person to play Spock. Is that right? We got Leonard Nimoy. Yeah, you think you're right. Now, I will say this: when it comes to the Kelvin timeline, they got the right character. They got the right actor to play Spock for that. They nailed it, and I actually think this guy did really good too. I thought this guy was really good. But what's the other show? Because there's another Spock too. I can't think of what it is. But yeah, there's something that just doesn't work here. Nimoy, young Spock, dude from JJ, young Spock from JJ, and now this guy. The JJ guy, he's a real actor. What's his name? He's from Lost, right? He did awesome. Oh yeah, Hero. Sorry. Yeah, not Lost, Heroes. Kind of get those two mixed up because I never really watched either one. But anyway, I think this actor is awesome. I actually think, from what I've seen of Strange New Worlds, I liked it. I enjoyed it. Way better than the show that they tried to give Spock a sister. Zachary Quinto. Thank you very much. He was, I remember when he was named, to me, that was the equivalent when it comes to Star Trek of doing like younger versions of characters as Patrick Stewart being named Professor Xavier. Like, you could not have found a better actor to be a lookalike to Leonard Nimoy for that Spock character. So, but anyway, if someone wants these Strange New World Haya figures, 6.3 inches, a bunch of different stuff, 2 different bad head sculpts, the stand, it's yours. And I don't think it's very hard to get. All right. So there's one of the Haya. Now, Haya tends to just be taking most of the G.I. Joe classified and then putting them in their 4-inch form. And every single one of these that isn't a mask, the fucking head sculpt looks awful. Not bad, awful. And they're not doing enough. Now, I feel bad for guys like Lenny where they're just taking his sculpts and just making them 4-inch. Now, again, he works for Hasbro. Hasbro is the one who licensed it out. They obviously gave the rights to this. This just doesn't look good. Not Rachel says, plastic surgery shipwreck. You need a punk. That's the problem. But this head sculpt is so bad. And they do the exact same thing with classified. Like, they even made like Polly just pegs right in here. Like, just pegs right onto the, onto the rope. And it's kind of disappointing that this is what they do. But it's even worse that they completely fucking just destroy the face sculpt. Because, I mean, Mood Wreck does not look this bad. Right? Sorry, Travis, but they made it a figure of you and they really made it look bad. And I saw you in person. You're not that ugly. I mean, you're pretty fucking ugly, but not like this. So I do feel bad that this is what they did with you. But yeah, Haya just, they cannot hit the face sculpts. I mean, this is just bad. But if you want it, it's there for you. All right? If it keeps me from spending the money on these things because they're more expensive than a classified to get them here. And they look bad. And look, he has 2 bad face sculpts. So there you go. If you want it, pick it up. I'm just now Toy Matrix says, I love what Haya did with Storm Shadow. Now, I'm very surprised that we have not seen that Storm Shadow released yet in Classified. I fully believe it's coming because it was on Desert Snake Eyes' artwork. That is one of the ones that Lenny created. I mean, I would be pissed that they got to make it his sculpt, his design, before it even got made in Classified. On to some G.I. Joe here. And this is not the topic yet. We'll get to that. So quickly, we'll take a look at our Fans Hobby and their Dune Buggy. And they showed off a lot of different things. I like this. If I was going to spend $100 on something, I'd probably spend it on this if it's not a classified. Now, we have a military guy. It's actually, that's the Army guy. Can't think. The 60th anniversary Army with a Wolverine head on it. Anyway, they show you how everything comes off, how everything looks, the suspension. And from everything that I have seen so far with the Not Skyhawk, man, they seem to do it right. Thank you, Johnny. I don't know why I couldn't think of the 60th anniversary of the infantry. Sorry, Rowdy. Never wait for me to finish because, well, I've told girls that before. If you want to go on live at 12 or whenever, do it. But if you want to wait till I'm done on a Monday, I'm gonna apologize because these streams just go on and on and on. So anyway, this does look really good. Dude, I think that Fans Hobby is doing a good job. I really do. So if you want like third party, affordable, again, I don't think $100 is crazy if you get it on the early bird. And I think now after seeing the Not Skyhawk come out, I think this is one of those things where people are willing to say, all right, you know what? I will pre-order this knowing that I'm going to get it cheaper and shipped cheaper while waiting for Hasbro's to come out. And this looks different enough. This is not recreating the All-Striker. It's just making a Doom Buggy. So if you like it, again, you can go check it out. I don't know. I'm assuming the pre-orders are up. Richard Sampson jumping in saying, hey, what's up? All right, 93 people. Please hit that like button if you haven't. It definitely helps the algorithm, helps YouTube to know that it's time to push this out. All right. Another Sergeant Slaughter. I don't know if we needed another Sergeant Slaughter. I really don't. I also wonder if this is going to be a smaller Sergeant Slaughter. Just because we know that Sergeant Slaughter is basically built on the Gung Ho and Roadblock Bucks, which are just, they're too big. They are too big for classified scale. You can work them in, and it's not that Leatherneck is so small. It's just that he's so much smaller than Gung Ho. But this is the 2-pack that's going to come with Mercer. You can see this is a completely different upper body. It has the it doesn't have the ab crunch. It has the diaphragm cut. Now, this is, I talked about it somewhere else when I was on. This is not what you want to have with the diaphragm cut because it has a line down the middle and it breaks that cut. Leatherneck was never supposed to be a huge guy, but it's just that people want him with Gung Ho, and when he's next to Gung Ho, because Gung Ho is way too big, he looks like a child. That is the problem. Now, Richard, I'm not sure. I know you said it's. I skipped on Sarge with the boxing, the Valaverse, and the first Sergeant classified. I don't know. I don't want him to be as small as the Valaverse one. I'll just say it. But anyway, he comes with the same little stick. Torn sleeves, which I actually think look pretty damn cool. The glasses are still going to be removable. Hopefully they're getting better. A bullet belt here. So this is a new upper torso. Still has his whistle. Here's the back of him. Grenades on the back. That's going to be great for trying to get him to sit on something. Ollie Rowdy saying, one more to hit 100. Please, let's hit 100. What are we at right now? 101. Thank you to Rowdy Ryle. I'm going to give you all the credit, Rowdy. Thank you very much. And I've been enjoying your content. I really am. But Sarge here, he has his cap, and look, he has the beret. And God, I hope we can make him look bad. At least I'm going to make him look like the traitor that turned his back on Hulk Hogan and the USA, along with General Agnod and Colonel Mustafa, who they expected me not to realize was the Iron Sheik. So, and I guess we'll just have to hit this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Pop Blender with the $5 super chat saying, just slipping this under the door from Rent Punk. It is the beginning of the month. Sorry I'm late, but the 5th was a Saturday. No hard feelings. What am I missing? It's okay. You have a grace period. All right. Get a grace period of like 5 days or 10 days. I don't know. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So here's Mercer with a new weapon. All right, so new upper torso. Looks like a new thigh holster. So you're going to get this chest piece here with a holster for the gun. Little bullet belt across here. Now, I have to say this, and I think most would agree with this, as classified started to shift over, not having all their plate carriers, other plate carriers or their overlays. Not all of them are actual overlays. They're actually sculpted into the chest. It makes articulation and posing these figures 10 times better. All right. So you got a nice little sheath here. I believe these are new. All right. I believe that these are new. It looks like you have some gauntlets. This grenade launcher, and I'm assuming that's a grenade launcher, it looks awesome. Something different that we haven't seen yet. So I'm excited for that for sure. Rowdy says, now make sure you get my The Amazing interview on Saturday to 100 likes. We will do our best. Rowdy Riles is going to have The Amazing on this Saturday. Did you say 1 p.m.? And I heard you talking. I know you said you're nervous. Don't be nervous to have someone on. Just be yourself. You've reached out to them. And they've agreed to come on because they have, I would assume that they have vetted you. They've looked at you. They think that you're going to do a good job, and they want to come on and help promote you. Okay. So don't be nervous. He's just another person, no different than you, no better, no worse. Just someone who collects that has more eyes on him than you. That's all. That's the only difference. Just always remember that anytime you talk to somebody, other than me, be a little nervous when you talk to me. I'm a very intimidating person. So these are all courtesy of J-Con. If you guys don't know who J-Con is, well, no one really knows who J-Con is. But yeah, don't. J-Con is the one that's spilling all these leaks to the point that it seems like the classified team is like, fuck it, let's just put this shit out for everyone. All right. So anyway, here's everything. Now we got to see another look at Monkey Wrench's face sculpt. I think this looks really cool. We kind of discussed this. I think it looks good. It's fun. It's something different. I know people are going to complain because my Monkey Wrench didn't have that. Well, who cares? You don't need it. Now, it was odd because I was listening to Chris McLeod from the Full Force, and he was saying, we showed this mask a while back, and we didn't know who it went to. And he said, I remember somebody mentioned something that maybe that goes to Monkey Wrench. But he's like, we didn't really know. And sure enough, it does. Just Jeff says, I'm going to make fun of Punk's music choice when we talk. You can try. And you know what? I'll say it again. When someone doesn't like what I like, doesn't change how I feel. Just like if I don't like something someone else likes, it doesn't change how you feel about it. And that's what's awesome, right? Isn't that's awesome? That's what should be awesome about this community. And I see it. And let's just get a
Welcome to the Creamery.
Rowdy Riles joining the Creamery, becoming a new YouTube member. Thank you very much. So if you're not busy on Friday, we will be doing Punk's Pit, where a bunch of yahoos decide to get on, and shit, we usually go like 4 or 5 hours. So mark off your 10 to 3 o'clock in the morning. The best thing about Punk's Pit is usually I'm about ready to go, and Matthew's just taking control of everything. No, Jeff, I know you are. Jeff, I wouldn't ask you to come on if I thought you were going to be an asshole. I think you are one of the nicest guys, and you probably have one of the biggest hearts in this community. Like I said, I'm not that person. So, anyway, there's this mask. I like it. I think it's fun. Here's his new buck. I don't think he has nipples. That might be disappointing to some people. Here's his chains. I don't think they're going to be reusing this one, right? So I like the chains. I know Chris McLeod made a joke about it needs to be a chain wallet. I would have loved that, because I was one of those skateboarders that refused the chain wallet because of Matt Hensley for the longest time. And then I fell in love with the chain wallet after it was no longer cool. And I still miss my chain wallet. And then here we had J-Con dropped this. It's not a painted version of Battle Armor Cobra Commander, other than the crotch piece. This is actually the color. These are actually the colors of the paint. Now, looking at this, the head doesn't look as round as the actual digital render that we originally seen. It doesn't flare out, but it's not as round. So I have a feeling that when we see this, it's gonna look more like the Battle Armor Cobra Commander we were also used to. The backpack looks huge. We can see it molded in 2 different colors, and I'm assuming that bottom one is what it's going to be. That's the actual molded color. So, all right, woo. I'm going to remove this if I can figure out how to remove anything. So 2 hours and 48 minutes. Ed, I guess you're right. It's about 11:55 before we get to the topic. 610 Daddy. What, man? I do like it. I really do like that Cobra Commander. I always did. I found it very interesting. I always thought it was like he was a spacesuit. But then I also used it as like, it enhances his strength. So he can actually fight Serpentor. He can take on Destro. Because I always saw Destro as being much stronger. Also much smarter than him. So, anyway. I don't always like to have the most serious topics. I said before, I don't have a problem discussing the stuff that's going on in the community, or what's going on with different companies, or even different YouTubers. But I don't want to do it all the time, and it gets kind of boring, to be 100% honest. But I wanted to talk about some of the G.I. Joe what characters you would like for G.I. Joe Classified. And as I said earlier, before there was 90 plus people watching, I'm not talking about Lifeline or Zap, right? We're going to get those figures. But I want something a little bit different, right? And, I think if you know what the thumbnail was, that is from the G.I. Joe cartoon, Why can't I think of it? Worlds something. What the hell? I know what it is. Someone tell me. Worlds something. And it's very very interesting because I'm not a huge cartoon guy, but there are some characters that I absolutely loved. So, yes, Worlds Without End. Thank you. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I had to find it that way. I had to find it that way. Now, look, I want to say something. I thought for sure Bjorn, Jacob. I thought for sure at the end of the that fan stream that they were going to give a sneak peek because they kept saying a sneak peek, and I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me! Like, do you like? So I didn't have that. So, I threw in a few here. Now, if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time, you know that I have wanted a Billy figure, right? He is so important to the comic line. Now, Tony made me a custom. And I was on the phone with Tony. And I honestly, I didn't realize how dead on he made him. Because that's not the Billy that I was thinking. I was thinking of Billy from like early on. You know, when Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes for. And then I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy shit, dude. That is dead on what he created me. So frankly, I don't really give a shit if we ever get this Billy because I have him sitting in my hand. Thank you, Tony's Figs. But yeah. So it is one of those, you know, this is one of those characters. I don't know why he hasn't been done yet. I've even mentioned to Lenny, and he doesn't seem to be too interested in doing them. So Quip is saying Solid Snake. Nice to have you in here. Isn't Solid Snake part of something different? I may be wrong. And Beckley says Scalpel. Now that is one I don't want, but I do know what character it is. Yes, a young Billy. That's what I was thinking. Again, and yes, thank you, and Tony. Thank you. Seriously, that meant the world to me. Like, I love that figure. And I know you told me what it went to, but I didn't realize like it was that dead on. I know people want Raven. Now, I can fully see us probably getting this character. Now, the one thing about Super 7 is they will make very obscure characters. Unfortunately, they'll either be in the reaction, we have no articulation line, or they're going to have in the reaction plus that just don't look right. But yeah, this is one of those ones where, again, we're going to get, I think we'll probably get something like this, but this is one of those obscure ones, right? This is one of those ones where it's a little obscure, it's a little out there, and you probably don't need it. 3-star says Lenny didn't seem interested in Billy because they seem to have a fuck the comics policy over there. I don't fully agree with that. I don't fully agree with that. I think because the original line is so based from the cartoon. I mean, from the original line, the comic is so based after that. The Blind Woodsman. I think that is. This is. I don't see how we don't get this, they're giving us Snake Eyes and the polar bear. So I don't know how. I don't see how we're not going to get this figure. And they can even make his eyes like glow in the dark. But this is, I think this is one that we have to have. All right. There's no doubt about it. He's actually very integral. I'm not even going to try and say the word. You know what I'm trying to say. But I think we're going to get this figure. But this is one I think that we absolutely need. All right. Equip says this is an easy ad. Definitely need more characters from the Mass Device episode. Integral. Yes, thank you. Sometimes words just become a fucking pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie. And here, and like, I can't see us getting a whole dog sled. Also, this is the worst fucking glow in the dark figure I've ever had in my entire life. Just say that. This is one I cannot believe that we haven't gotten yet. All right. So this is Don Moreno. I don't fully know I wasn't reading the comics at this point. She's a version of Snake Eyes, but she is not Snake Eyes. People want this, and I am really surprised that they have not created her yet. Unfortunately, PBJ Street Gang says he hates Don Moreno. Again, it is not replacing Snake Eyes, so it doesn't bother me at all.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
G.I. Jetman says Carol Wheeler, Zorana in Disguise, and Stalker V2. See, now Stalker V2 is one I'm pretty sure we'll probably get. They have to do a little bit more with the Arctic figures, especially if they ever do create a Snowcat. But Carol Wheeler, like, that's the type of stuff that I think would actually be really cool. Okay. It's been a long time. I used to read these, but General Ray I really liked. And I think this would be a really, really cool character. All right. He's someone different. I don't think General Ray exists in the Real American Hero line. But again, that's what's great about Classified is it's not supposed to be adherent to any line. It's supposed to be its own brand. We know it's not, but they can create whatever types of characters they want. So I would love to have a General Ray. I think he's just something different. And if I remember correctly, he is a traitor. Just kind of like Sergeant Slaughter. If I remember correctly. We're never going to get these figures. We are never going to get these figures. Maybe in some form, but I don't think we'll ever get the October Guard. All right. But they are so important. You have another big buck there that you can use. But yes, this is something that I do really think that it is needed. I just don't think we're going to get it. But yeah. Okay, so General Ray was Serpentor. He ended up betraying Cobra for the Joes. Okay, so he's a traitor somewhere. Like I said, I can't really remember, but I remember because I used to use him as my screen name for a lot of different things. I used to use his screen name. Just Jeff says, yeah, I'm not seeing a celebration of any Russian anything anytime soon unless Ukraine wins. Yeah. Again, if they do it, I think it will be with a different name. Sandando jumping in here saying, good evening. The survey question that popped up when I just entered was tempting. Had to go with answer A. Working but stopping to leave a like and listening for a bit. Well, thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated in every way. It's greatly appreciated. All right. Now, many people know that Rocky was supposed to be in the G.I. Joe line. All right. He was supposed to be in the G.I. Joe line. He was never in the G.I. Joe line because of the Rambo figures. And there was an issue with the likeness of Sylvester Stallone. I have heard rumors that there will be a Rocky figure. I don't know if it is. I really don't. But there is, I have been told by someone that there may be one coming. Now, if anyone doesn't know, Rocky is actually in the comic book, in the files. There's 4 comics. I only have 3 of them for some reason. But he's actually in there. And this is his actual file card. So Rocky Balboa, he was supposed to be the nemesis for Big Boa. I never cared for him. So again, these are characters that we all want in classified. Worlds Without End. Again, I'm not a huge cartoon guy. I'm not a huge yes, Dwight Man Freddy. Wouldn't be the worst thing. I love Worlds Without End. It is such a fun episode that takes a very dark turn. And this was a way of ushering out 3 characters to bring in new Joes. And even though they're very similar, they could do a 3-pack of these ones, right? So this is just one of those things where, you know what, you kind of create a whole line, because remember the Dreadnoks, they were police officers, so you have that there. There's so many different things that you can do with Worlds Without End. So I think this is actually really cool, and this is why I put it in my thumbnail. And then Hooded Cobra Commander, just so fucking no one will mention him, even though we're never getting a Hooded Cobra Commander, at least not anytime soon. I wanted to put him in there, and I cannot believe that now maybe someone said it and I wasn't paying attention enough. But I put Hooded Cobra Commander so people wouldn't be mad. But yeah, Hooded Cobra Commander, probably not going to get it. It has been handed down. They've been told there's no Hooded Cobra Commander. All right. So that is some of the ones that I had. I didn't want to try and figure out every single one. Quip says, I have no idea why they won't do that CC anymore. It's ridiculous at this point. I've already talked about it. Like, it is well known why they won't do it. And that is because of the Bonaventure. He said it will not be done. It got in the higher ups' heads, told them CC Hooded Cobra Commander is not allowed. This is not a rumor. I've been told by people who worked, 2 different people that worked for Hasbro at the time. Bobby Valla has talked about it. His story was confirmed by the person who told me, who now works for Bobby Valla, but it was well before I worked for Bobby Valla. And even Bonaventure said that he was the one that put it out there. It is stupid. It does not look like anyone from the KKK. but it ain't doing it. Isn't Fresh Monkey Fiction making a hooded Coco with a wink and a nod? Yeah, pretty much. Because all it is a mask, but it looks just like it. The problem is that their head sculpts don't fit. They'll eventually probably do a blue version of the hood, and that will match. Again, Hooded Cobra Commander is a dark blue. He's not the light blue. So there's only that one Cobra Commander that has that dark blue. But yeah, it's dumb. And again, before anyone jumps in and says that's not the reason, or I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying I agree with the reason of not doing it, but that is the reason. And again, not only has Bobby Vallo talked about it, you can find these articles all over about it. I'm only mentioning it because someone brought it up, and I know there's people now that are going, wait a minute, is there really something on this? I've never once said that I don't believe all the stuff that Bobby Vallo says. All right, that's never what I said. But again, two different people, including one at Joe Fest just recently, to the point where he said we scoured all over the internet and we couldn't find anything. Okay, so Aaron, so remember this. Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series are owned by Disney. They have final say in what they want. So the difference is Hasbro, who owns G.I. Joe, when they look at it, they're the ones that take the heat. Again, I'm not saying I agree with it. I think it's a stupid reason. But they own it. They're the ones that put down the edict that they're not going to do it. I mean, yes, people will say that Baron Zemo is literally a Nazi. I said it. And they create him. They even did they even made him in Indiana Jones, right? So, yeah, it's just something that was put in there. They weigh out their options and they say what they perceive could be a problem doesn't outweigh the benefit. So I understand it. And Jeff says, so here's the deal. An executioner's hood still isn't a good look for a guy. However, also with the shit going on or has gone on in the Middle East in the last century or so, it's not smart. Again, they're also terrorists. I mean, they also have rockets, right? They have a saboteur. It's just stupid. But again, there is a reason why when people try and bring up the Marvel Legends and even the Arctic Stormtroopers, dude, it's just they're owned by different companies. Just one company makes them. Anyway, so I got a few of these stars, so let's take a look at some of these. So MCR earlier said Bomb Strike, and again, this one that I could see them doing later on. I don't think it's something that's super important, but I like that they do seem to want to be grabbing some of these characters that I think would work out. Into Mystery, female dial tone. I know that is one that a lot of people like, and I fully understand. I think I could see them doing that, especially now having dial tone. There's a lot of things that I think would actually work out pretty well. Hector Ramirez, I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised that one didn't come up anywhere else. At least I didn't see it. Now again, the chat's going kind of crazy here, and I was trying to highlight. 610 said Pythona and October Guard. Now Pythona's coming. That is pretty much all but confirmed that Pythona is going to be coming. And I hate to say it, this is not because this is not Emily's agenda to get Pythona. A lot of people want Pythona. a Yellow Jacket said, true Sunbow versions of Duke, Scarlet, Snake Eyes version 2, Roadblock, Gung Ho, Stalker, Flint, Lady J, Alpine. Okay, I don't think we're going to get all those. I don't think they're going to go fully into the cartoon. They kind of gave that over, and they allowed Super 7, although they didn't want to say it, so I'll say it. Super 7 makes shitty fucking figures. 610 says Cesspool. I know who that is. Now, this here I've talked about before, and I think this is kind of a joke here. Channing Tatum Duke. I would have no problem with them doing movie figures. All right? I don't have a problem with it because if people don't want it, they don't want it. But if they can get the likeness of The Rock for Roadblock, I have no problem with it. They want to do that version of Falcon and, version of Flint. They didn't do Falcon. Lady J, I'm fine with that. I think Snake Eyes was awesome. All right? I think that I think Snake Eyes was awesome. I think Storm Shadow was awesome. I thought they nailed it with Scarlet. The first Baroness, so hot. Scalpel. I know who Scalpel is. I hate him. Quinn. Now, I had a picture of Quinn, but for some odd reason, PowerPoint doesn't see it. So I didn't put him in there. A Quinn, I think that is one that, I agree. Very, very important to the storyline. Now, Cornelius, I had pictures of Sergeant Savage, which goes with Iron Claw. And I really do think that the Sergeant Savage stuff would fit with Classified very well. Especially if you want to say, hey, you know what? This was before G.I. Joe, right? That's your storyline. The Sergeant Savage happened before G.I. Joe. But I think the Iron Claw, I think that would actually, I think that would work very well. There's no doubt about it. And I did, like I said, I didn't have a picture of Sergeant Savage, but it didn't take, and then you kind of forget which ones there were. Bjorn says, I really want a Fred in his mechanic overalls. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Something really just weird, a little off the wall, different things like that, right? These are exclusives. These are 3-packs because this one here, hard, soft, and Blind Master 3-pack. And again, I do think that is one of those things where I can't believe that they don't make those yet. Am I the only one that's like, how have these 3 figures, when how many Snake Eyes and Storm Shadows they've made? And they try and make sure, like, hey, this is part of their story. Right? Why do they not make those? I don't get it. And then G.I. Jetman's, Salvo, Repeater, Headman, and Keelhaul. Keelhaul, I'm willing to bet will get made. He's very important. I mean, he is one of the higher ups when it comes to G.I. Joe. Headman is interesting. I think Headman is very interesting. Salvo and Repeater are 2 that I keep hearing names of. I think people want those characters. I don't feel the need for them completely, but people seem to really, really want them. Jamie Garcia says, I'd buy the 3-pack of Stalker, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow as LARP. That's another one, and I've talked about this before. They can do characters. They could do a Snake Eyes where he has the buoy hat, no face, because it's down far enough. You never really have to see the face, and just kind of it's just not even blurred out, but so you don't see it. I agree. That's something they definitely need. And like Aaron, he wants Headhunter. Headhunter is actually a pretty cool looking figure. Tony says Lieutenant Claymore. Now I do apologize. This is one reason why I hate reading This is it's not Rachel. Nobody wants a semi-hard master. I don't know. I'm sure you can find some people that do on the internet. I'm sure there's got to be some genre for that. It does look like where is it? KJ jump in here? Yeah, here he is. KJ jump. Now again, I was on all the starts, so I'm trying to read over here. So KJ, what's up, man? Great to see you here. Now another thing that I think would actually be super cool is a Bumblebee. Now, one of the crossovers, the Transformer G.I. Joe crossover, you see Bumblebee being destroyed. I think you could actually do a Bumblebee Transformer as a bug, and it wouldn't be too big. Where, like, if you did Optimus Prime, he'd be just huge. That would have to be a HasLab. Now, I think that would do absolutely wonderful. Could you imagine a HasLab Optimus Prime with Duke or General Hawk as his driver, 6-inch form? Now, I've already said, I think for the O-Ring, I mean, the rumor is that it's going to be Optimus Prime as the Mobat. I just don't understand why. Like, why the hell can't we just have a Optimus Prime that is a Peterbilt that looks like Optimus Prime that holds the O-Ring? I don't need it to be a Mobat. I'm perfectly fine with buying an Optimus Prime scale Peterbilt that fits an O-Ring figure. So, and Graf says, all I want is a Lobato Max is all I want. That's an end credits rolling figure. Yeah, no one wants Psych Out. I fucking hate Psych Out. God, I fucking hate. You think Transformer fans would riot if there was a 6-inch scaled Bumblebee? I mean, he wouldn't be huge. I mean, they could probably do him in maybe, I don't know, 12 inches tall, right? Maybe a little bit taller than the snake armor. I don't see why not. Tatsi says Transformers fans don't riot over that stuff. And Pop Blunder says, man, I can't be having any Psych Out. Come on, Punk. I just said I don't want Psych Out. I hate Psych Out. God, I hate Psych Out. I won't say this until I actually see it. I don't know how they're going to do it. That's my biggest thing. I do wonder how they would do something like that, but they've made the other ones work. I'll be 100% honest. So Sunny Sundries is jumping here saying hello there. Still waiting for a classified repeater. That's one I've heard a few times. He's another one that people tend to really like. I don't have any connection to him, but I have no problem with it. Now Stanley says, would a classified Bumblebee be the size of a Vamp? Yeah, pretty much. You can't get a human size. You can't get an adult human in the back of a VW Beetle. So yeah, it would be about that size. And then you just look at when he transforms, how he's gonna stand up. Now Rowdy here brings up G.I. Joe Street Fighter figures. Man, I would not want that. I know what they were doing back then, and some people might like it. It's nothing that I would ever want. And Chaz the Guru says, please keep Transformers out of classified. I'm just talking about a Bumblebee. I don't want like a whole line, just a Bumblebee. I'm just saying, it'd be pretty cool. It'd be something different. And I picked him because a Bug is a small vehicle, of which he was. So he wouldn't be super tall. So he wouldn't be super tall, and he could easily fight the snake armor. Merging Lion, who I know I have never seen before. Although Matthew may tell me that I'm wrong, I'm still waiting for a high tech. See, again, there's so many good figures. Into Mysterio says 6-inch Michael Bay Transformer line with Mark Wahlberg, Megan Fox. I'm not saying I want that. Now I am surprised that no one, maybe because Charlock isn't here anymore, no one said anything about Mask. That they don't like. No one said anything about they wanting Mask figures, a Matt Tracker in. I was actually kind of surprised that no one mentioned that. But yeah, there's just so many different things. Look, Jeremy Kimberlin jumping in here saying, I just want classified Charbroil, preferably Night Force Charbroil. There's so many different, and again, there's so many different characters, and we're going to get a lot. And again, what I was really looking for more than anything was just some of these obscure ones, and I think some of you guys, nailed them. I think Sergeant Savage, I think that really crosses over the Extreme, G.I. Joe Extreme. They can be, that's where Claw's from. I was mistaken on that. And so like Jim, it's like this here, like mainframe we're gonna get, all right, and then we'll probably get a retro carded version of it. Okay, now I only want it if it comes in a 2-pack with that leather neck. So I have that leather neck. I have that leather neck right now. And that bazooka in the lifeboat for the aircraft carrier. I need to get the Adventure People old blue boat because they need to be on a shipping. They need to be on a fishing trip. That is what I want. So if there's a 2-pack of those two, and let's be honest, they need to have fishing poles. All right. Can we agree on that? Rowdy says, I had never heard of Mask before the new toys were announced. And that's because you're young. Again, like, that's why I say about everyone wanting Mask. I think people want Mask because they just want the ability to buy it if they want it. I don't think that many people really want it. People want what they can't have. They just want the ability to have it, and they don't care if companies lose money on it. Again, I'll say it again. Hasbro wants to make millions, not thousands of dollars, and that is why we don't see the O-rings, because it's not going to bring in millions of dollars right now. It's going to bring in thousands. Classified, on the other hand, is going to bring in more. So, G.I. Jetman says, what's the Joe figure that came with the inflatable raft? Now, are you talking about, if you're talking about the Cobra one, that didn't come with a figure. And maybe you're talking about one that was after my time. There's so many figures that were after my time that I don't remember. So, but I think I'm going to wrap it up. It is 12:30, and I have to wake up in the morning and go to work and get a whole bunch of stuff done before the end of the day, because unfortunately I have to miss the I have to miss Wednesday for a funeral. So Kasem Lyles jumping in here. I know I've never seen you here. Retro Snake Eyes version 2 with Timber. Retro Snow Job. I think we're going to get both of those. High Tech, Link, Talbot, Dart, Red Spot, Minutia. Oh, I hate that Firefly. God, I hate that Firefly. I had him too. I don't know why I had him. He's so far after my time. But man, I did not like that. But anyway, I'm going to bolt. Thank you guys all for tuning. 3.5 hours. Cobra Commander says it's only 9:30. I got to go to bed early. Rowdy, sorry that you waited to hoping that I'd finish my stream early. That's on you. But now you know, like, if you're going to wait for me to finish on Monday, you might be waiting till 12:30, even 1 o'clock sometimes, because I have a tendency to not know how to end things. That's why you hear me keep going. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow to Circle of Jerks. I will not be on it, but support Baldy Fucks Reviews, Terry, Spec, and their special guest. And if I have a chance, if I can jump on, I will jump on, but I can't promise anything because, well, you know. And then, oh, maybe you don't know, I have a wake to go to. Actually, I have 2 wakes to go to. So I have to go to one and then go to the other one. And then this Thursday, Daredevil Dave, who was brought back from the dead because of Powerade, it has electrolytes. He will be my guest, so please tune in. And then if you're a channel member, this Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, I haven't created the thumbnail. I promise I will. Tune in for Punk Spit, 10 p.m. And you'll just see a bunch of yahoos talking about toys because that's what we do. So anyway, have a wonderful night. And I will see you guys all later on this week. And if I can remember how to get out of here.